week's edition of the Bro Show Live. I apologize for the delay. It is obviously my fault. I am the host tonight, Skilbo1, and I am joined as always by the panel. And we have our special guest this evening, Lake Michigan Canna. So I want to start by doing introductions. I want to start right off with Abolished, and we're going to try to make up for some lost time here, folks.
Abolished Farms here. You can find me on IG, YouTube, and where we see MBGS Productions.
Miss Cantaloupe, you guys can catch me on Instagram. I'm really excited to hang out today and learn some more about IPM and figure out how to take care of those creepy crawly bugs.
Red Setter.
What's going on, everybody? Red Setter Farm here. I'm smoking on I'm breaking up some grape glee, ready to get some IPM talk going. I got my first wave of outdoor plants sitting right outside on my deck, getting rained on right now. So I'm pretty excited to see what I need to do to keep the bugs off of them. Let's get rid of the ticks out of our yard too. Hit them with the ninja toads. Let's go.
Ninja Toad reference early in the show. Spartan Grown, welcome.
Hey everybody, I'm Spartan Grown. You can find me on Instagram as Spartan Grown. We'll speed it up.
We don't have to go through all the whole the litany of the places that you can be found. It's everywhere, folks. Kate, how you doing tonight?
Very good. You can find me on Instagram at the Canna Kate. I'm also super excited about IPM tonight because it's probably like my biggest struggle, and I didn't know that we were doing it tonight, so super stoked. I also have been buying plants from other places, which is like, grow herpes risk.
And I want to introduce our guest for this evening, Lake Michigan Canna. Welcome back, Parker, and welcome, guys. How you doing?
What's going on, guys? You can find us on Instagram, and I'm Parker.
Tucker. And I'm Butch, and I'm Old Name Gardener 29 on Instagram.
Well, it's really good to have you here. And Butch, would you mind telling the people how many years that you've been doing this already, just so we can get some wide eyes in the chat early?
Sure. Well, I've been in the pest control industry for a little over 30 years. We've practiced IPM. I can remember when IPM was introduced. We are all certified in IPM, and we do a lot of training. We train our butts off. We went to Purdue every year. We go to what's called the Kentucky Short Course, and pest control is such a broad industry. I mean, it can go from plants and stuff all the way to then buildings and things. And we're kind of more food processing, protection, and building structure protection. And we are certified to do the grows indoors. We can't treat outdoor grows. So we enjoy doing it and things, and IPM is the key to it all. And people really use the term loosely, but it's really, identifying the pest, knowing what you're dealing with, trying to find a safe product to put on it, maybe using bugs to combat bugs. There's a lot of different ways I practice IPM.
Well, I think that one of the big things is that the constant continuing education of what you can and cannot use, new things that come out to the market, old things that are now banned. It's really difficult to stay up on all the changes, I'm sure.
It is. But what we have to do is look to the other states that are they're levels ahead of us. Colorado, California, those places are kind of proving it, setting the pace for everybody else. It's not the absolute, but it's a good outline to go by. If you don't have to reinvent the wheel, why reinvent the wheel? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Spartan, I know you want to talk some IPM.
Well, you got to be more specific than IPM. Basically, what he just said is like, you say IPM, that's like, tell me about the world.
Well, okay.
I found something interesting in the introduction. Like, I've heard a lot of people talk IPM and IPM specialists, but you guys said something about the construction IPM, and I found that really fascinating. Is that like making sure people are setting up the buildings and then clearing out all trees and shrubbery and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely having a barrier. There's so many things that you can do. Caulking a building. Every building we go to is filled with holes. I mean, you can't believe some of the stuff we could spend hours just sealing them up, and that's so important, you know.
Yeah, just minor things, holes in the house, building, the way the lights are in the parking lot, if they're on the building or away from the building. There's a lot of different things you can do to draw the bugs away. But like IPM is very broad, so it's easier to try to ask specific questions, I guess.
I'm sorry, but it's just crazy with IPM because there's so many aspects to it. It's hard to figure out what your definition of it is. You know what I mean? But it really is gathering the data, you know, collecting the data, put out monitoring things, and you know, trying to figure out what is causing the problem, you know, and fixing that problem so that you can prevent it. You know, if you keep getting a mouse in and you don't fix your garage door seal, you're going to keep getting a mouse in. You know what I mean?
So what is your typical service call consist of for a lot of the people that you service? What's your number one thing that you guys find yourself having to do over and over again and preach over and over again to potential clients?
So as far as like we do service a couple of rec grows in a few of the towns around. I don't want to say any names because I don't want to offend anybody, but one of them's a Class C and one of them's a Class B. And a lot of those guys at that level, like, you know, Mitt and Canico, they're not going to have issues because they have a very tight regimen and things like that. And they know what sanitation is. They're not, a lot of times everything that they do as far as genetics, they're going to start at that location. They're not, you know, from what I'm seeing, a lot of guys aren't taking clones in at facilities like that. Everything's done in-house. They have a very strict regimen as far as, you know, putting on suits, changing out of clothes, getting bleach pads. I mean, like my dad was saying, I mean, there's so many different ways that you can take it. I mean, you can be so strict or you can be super laid back. So, yeah.
One thing that we've done at Mint and Canico that I thought was a simple solution to what I think is going to make a huge difference is just put gravel down all the way around the damn building. You don't have plants, you don't have leaves, and you don't have grass and stuff for bugs to hide out in. It's freaking gravel all the way around.
Harbridge is eliminate the harbridge. I can't tell you how many through the years, how many grows I've gone to, and they're taking their dirt clods and they're putting them out against the building on the outside. And I'm just like, look at, you're never gonna get rid of your shit. You got to send this shit down the road. You know what I'm saying? But they got piles of it. I saw one guy one time, he redid his whole yard in his soil. And I'm just like, dude, you know, come on. You got to get
Reintroduction.
That's all right, because when it rains and his whole backyard is white like perlite, he'll know the error of his ways.
You get that river of perlite just floating down.
Holy shit, honey! It's
culverts,
well, yeah. You look out the window and think it's fucking hailing outside.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Perlite floating in front of the neighbor's house. There it goes.
Cheers, Chad. I'm smoking out some Blue Mystic that my son just dropped off a little bit ago. I see Spartans just firing up. I hope everybody is joining along and having a good night and smoking with us strong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's something I could talk about. Earlier on the show before this one on the Cheap Home Grow podcast there, I started out my podcast with a sour melon that the first one I grew. And this was the, you know, shout out to Abolished Farms there. He's the one that pheno hunted it. But I grew this in my Autopot tray system. So the tray system has 9 spots or 9 5-gallon pots all in a tray. And it's like a flood tray. So it's like on a reverse float valve. So it'll flood the tray. And then as the float valve hits to the bottom, as the water level drops, once it gets completely emptied, then it'll fill again. It's a perfect system because that's how I water my sip containers anyway. I fill them up with water and wait for them to be completely empty before I fill them again. So it's the same system. So I love it. But anyhow, so it was in that system, but it was on the far side, and there's big plants. The Abolished OG was behind it, bullying the shit out of it. On the other side, I had the Blueberry Quintessa, which just likes to flop around. And So between those two sandwiched between it, it only had like 2 main stalks. And then the 2 stalks went up late in flower and they shot up past the whole rest of the canopy. And they just built these huge freaking colas. In fact, actually, I've got a couple of them down here. But anyhow, so it didn't get it. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to get off it. Maybe a couple ounces or something, because it was literally like 2 stalks. But I'm really excited because when I smoked it, I don't know about flavor wise. I didn't get much anything that really stood out yet. I think it's still a little early, needs to cure up. But I mean, look at this fucking. This is dry. It's not wet. Look at this freaking cola. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so I mean, it's just like I got these little hand grenades, you know. So it's really cool to have, you know, these big buds. It's not going to account to a huge yield or anything, but it's cool to grow a plant like that once in a while and get those monster colas on them. Indoor.
Has anybody been watching Abolished Face moving back and forth in his chair the whole time you were talking, Spartan? It was like so funny. I hope somebody in the replay watches it. He was like a little kid. He's like, that's my baby.
I love hearing reviews, especially like I didn't hear anything on it. He saved it for the show. That's really good for only having 2 colas. Basically, you're muted right now.
Oh yeah, I was trying to show you how much there was. I mean, it wasn't a huge amount, but I mean, they're all good sized nugs. I bet you I'll get maybe a little bit over 2 ounces on that. On 2 stalks, I'm thrilled.
For the footprint that you took up for the plant, definitely.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, for sure. It might have
got some yield, that's for sure. She doubles my OG, but she gets another 2 weeks too.
Yeah, I took that one 77 days. Took her 11 weeks. And then the one I've got in flower right behind her, that one I have in a sip container. So that's 1.5 cubic feet of soil. So whatever that's like I think equivalent to like a 7 gal of soil. But then I'm in a sip container, which makes it think it's in a way bigger pot, just the way that it works. It's like a dual root zone, kind of like what Steve Reisner does with, he's got his soil and then the aquaponics. It's kind of the same deal with a sip container. But so that one is just beasting out, man. I mean, I think I shared a picture in chat or something, but I'll have to make a post on that. Oh no, I did make a post, I think, because I remember Mantis actually commented on it. So, but yeah, that one, I can't wait to see what that one does now that it's got enough space to, you know, really grow. Yeah, and I'm just really excited to see what it does, because
that one is a monster, and you have it like trained perfectly. Like you put the net and the support right where all the colas start, and it's just spear after spear, spark spears all over the place.
Well, it is, but the problem with it is that it takes so much longer to put that final weight on. But you watch it from like week 4, and you're like, oh, this is going to be a chunker. It's going to be, and it just keeps getting more and more dense, but it doesn't bulk up. And I'm at the point where I'm on day 57, I believe it is, with it, and it's just now finally starting to fill in a little bit more for me.
Yeah, get the little push at the end.
I have a sour melon in my tent too, and it got a little too tall. A couple of my tops got burnt today. Because I decided not to scrog that 10 out, and I decided to just, you know, use sticks and spear it out, and it's so tall. I should have known better, but.
So what'd you do to fix it?
I trimmed off the burnt little tops, and then we switched out the light to our LED.
Get it closer, yeah, for sure. Parker, what are you guys growing over there right now?
Oh boy, that's a hard question to answer. No, honestly, in the one room we've got our big hitter right now is the Tropicana cookies that we scored from. Shout out to Murdoch Craft Cannabis. It's from ONI Seeds. It's out of this world, man. We've gotten some reviews that are pretty awesome, and so we're running 30 of those, and then we have a Sunshine number 4. And then 30 of those in there. So about 60 plants in the grow room 1. And then we're working on a couple other strains. Tropical Drank from Totally Herbal. We scored those at the Bazaar Cup. And then what else, guys? Chime in.
Tucker's growing a bunch of stuff.
Some copycat genetics, some Mrs. Big Buns, and some Pure Michigan from Gromer. Some bubblegum breath, and then some 9-pound hammer. I've just popped a little bit of each.
How is that bubblegum breath? Because that sounds great.
I don't know yet. They're
I
like
smoked
3
some of it
inches.
at the cup, about an eighth of it. I got my hands on it. It was the first booth I walked up to. I just smoked the shit out of it. I really liked it. So when he said he got that pack, I was like, man, hold on to it. So, and then some Death Star. We just got a Death Star cut and a Motor Breath cut. So pretty stoked about that.
And I got the Cindy 99.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Pride and joy.
Is that a Brothers Grimm, Cindy?
Sir,
Yeah, he'll kill someone over that strain, man. It's his favorite.
my buddy Jim used to grow up way back when, and we had a friend that had it from the UP and brought me 3 clones, and we weren't set up, and so we give it to this old dude Tony that lived in Acme, and Tony took that and he made that his mother, and he started growing it, and we were buying it, and everything was great, and then Tony passed away. They say the Agent Orange got him. I don't know. That's what he wasn't that stick, but he was a great dude. And the Cindy rides again. Happy to have her.
That's cool that you have a cut of it, man. I am growing something that has it written right now. Eagle Gardens gave me a strain that's called Winnie, which was a cross between Cindy 99 and Durban Poison that I'm in the process of vegging out. So hopefully I find some Cindy activity with the ones that I have for sure, because that's good medicine.
I want to grow the older stuff. You know, these guys are all on the cutting edge, you know, and all this stuff, but I want to get some Hawaiian and some Audis, like some Acapulco Gold, some all this.
Panama Red?
Panama Red. Oh yeah. I want to go down that road for my own self. They're going to go down their road. And that's what's really cool is that we have the younger generation and then I'm the older generation. So, you know,
For sure, man.
We've been doing this shit for a long time.
Well, Abolished and I have Skunk One in our gardens right now.
Really?
I also have some Keweenaw crosses that I have a Keweenaw Copper crossed with Panama Red pack that I can pop. And some of the older genetics like the lamb's bread and things like that. So it's out there still. You can find them. It's just sometimes you have to get them in a cross, two-way cross.
You have to get on shows and network with people and stuff like that.
That's what we do.
I'm so busy with work. I don't have time. I work my connections. There's times, you know, the COVID thing has changed everything. It's kind of crazy. But I also want to talk about hot shots. You know what hot shots are? They're anybody know what hot shots are? You can go to Home Depot and buy them.
I've seen them, but I've never bought them. I don't know what they are. I mean, I remember the brand. I remember seeing it.
People use those all the time. They think it's like a fumigant that you hang, and then it kills everything in the room, and then you take it out. And
they use them in restaurants a lot.
They use them in restaurants too. Yes.
And they put them all over.
And I'm just saying that is the worst thing people can do. And a lot of people are saying that they're not doing it, but they are. You know, it does dissipate and things like that. But there's still a lot of old school people out there that are doing some pretty dumb things. They're like using a hot shot. Like, I'm just saying, you don't even want to be in the room with this stuff. And they're working with it. We have restaurants where they got them under the bar, you know, and the barfly dude just sitting there drinking every day from most of the day, not now because of COVID, but he's sitting there breathing the fumes in, you know what I'm saying? And it's just you hope no one's doing that. They need to get off their butts, clean their rooms, sanitize their rooms, quarantine their stuff. In our training, what they say is that they don't want anybody using, sprays and topicals indoors on plants because it can cause your whole, everything can be systemic and spread to all the other plants. And so it's not a great practice to do.
Well, you bring up a good point because there is what you are supposed to be doing, and then there's what we know some people do outside of that. Yeah. And I like that you're bringing up that one of the main things about an IPM isn't just what the fuck should I be spraying or not spraying. Yeah. It's part of a whole process. And you're saying, roll up your sleeves, clean your grow room, take all that organic matter out that could be contaminated, get that away from your building, stop setting up like vectors and things like that for pests to be able to get into the grow in the first place, so that your IPM is not a DEFCON 4, so to say.
Yeah.
So are those hot shot things, is that the same thing that you described? Is that the same thing as like fly paper or like sticky paper? Like that comes out of like the film container? Because I heard that those off gas also, and you don't want those in a sealed environment.
Those possibly could, but like the regular sticky traps, no.
No, yeah, I'm not referring to like yellow sticky traps or any like horticultural grade type things. Like we've actually had these in the bars that I've worked at. It almost looked like film being pulled out of a container.
Yeah,
with
that's
things,
exactly
you know?
what we're talking about.
Yeah,
right?
That is what you guys are talking about, the hot shots.
Yeah, it's a,
Okay, because I've also been concerned about even using something as simple as a ant trap, afraid that that might even off gas in a sealed environment.
No,
Just-
no.
The ant trap you're okay with. It's
Yeah.
all about the active ingredients. So it's
Okay.
organic phosphate is what is in that. It's like vape home.
It's called nalid.
Yeah. No.
It's a form of nalid, but it's a
yeah.
yes, and
Good
it's
to
a
know.
organic phosphate, which is you can use up, but they're banned. I mean, there's no
There's not
sense
very
in
many
every-
left.
Yeah, there's not very many left.
So as far as I've got a question, because we're getting into the pretty close to time when people are starting to put plants in the ground outside. Is there any kind of IPM practices you guys recommend to help us outside? Like there's a whole different ball game outside because you got like slugs come on the ground, then you got fucking caterpillars falling out of the fucking trees and shit that doesn't happen indoor.
The caterpillars, you mix up Dawn dish soap, you spray it on them, it smothers them.
Chickens are really like great IPM, man.
No ticks, free range chickens, no ticks.
Chickens.
Yeah, free fertilizer too.
Yeah.
But
Casey
truth
got
be
those
said,
chickens.
yes, do you? I just butchered 20 chickens today. Cornish game hens.
Oh, nice.
Stocked in the fridge.
Back from the freezer, right? But what were you just saying?
so stuff to do
Outdoors.
What we can use for outdoors, yes.
There's a multitude of different, organics that you can spray outside with.
Okay, I seen somebody today that was using what was called a beer trap for slugs. Have you guys ever seen that before?
Yes.
What do you think about those?
Well, actually, the slug you're dealing with is a garden slug, and it likes beer. So you put a tray of beer out, you're going to get a bunch of slugs in. Catching them is great, but all you got to do is put salt out. If you just use regular iodized salt and sprinkle it out around your plants, you'll keep them away from them.
You have to reapply it.
You got to reapply it because it's going to wash away and things. But if you like go out there with like your little sprinkler around your area, they won't cross it. They're all coming from the soil and crawling along. So, they hate salt, but the beer catches them. You get a tray full of them. Why not? If there's a lot of them on Beaver Island, the things like are crazy. Like, I'm just telling you, we use a product called Slug Away, but what I've heard is one of the things, bad aspects is that if dogs lick it and stuff, it can mess with them. They sell it over the counter. People spread it like wildfire. It's kind of crazy. Misusing the products is a big thing. You got to read the labels. You got to apply. Sometimes applying less and maybe separating one plant and treating it if you have to treat a plant is the way to go. But
One interesting way I just learned about that's even easier. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's not easier. Brambles. If you live anywhere near a wooded place, there's brambles freaking everywhere. So you just take and cut them into about, yay long, and you put them down like you're building fucking Lincoln logs around your plant. Put them about too high because they're all fucking spiky and shit. And the slugs won't. The slugs won't roll past it. They won't want to go in there.
you got that kind of time. God bless you.
Hey man, free. I'll trade time for free.
Yeah. Hey, what I want to know is when they talk IPM and stuff, does anybody have software that they use? Are they scared to use it? Are they using it? The biggest thing about IPM is documenting when you have a sighting try to figure out patterns, figure out when you're getting dirt in. Programs are only as good as the person's putting the data in, but there's programs out there. Is anybody using any of them, or don't want to say? Or
Well, I know that somebody in the chat is definitely going, no, but I want to know which programs I should be looking into.
Yeah. Yes, we like a program I grow with Jane, and you can photo documentate. You have to subscribe. They have it so you can just download it and use it, or you can be in a group chat and they use some kind of program that gamers use so they don't know who you are. You know what I mean?
Discord,
yeah.
Discord, yeah, that's it. And so then you can be part of the chat. They can see your plants, your grow, your data. Not all your data, but some, and you can collaborate with people and stuff. We don't collaborate. We just have it downloaded for ourselves. But a lot of times, what I'm doing is documenting. Hey, that clone, went to this room. You know what I mean? And I've photo documentate. But we also try to keep track of when we see fungus gnats and any pest sightings in there. And that's the whole key to IPM, is documenting and trying to figure out what the patterns are so you can stop where it's coming from. Get what I mean?
Okay, let's talk fungus gnats real quick. What should I be doing about those in my indoor grow?
I personally, I think using good soil, but even with good soil, yeah, overwatering is the biggest problem.
Bingo.
I think cleaning, the biggest thing is
water less,
and clean your damn pots. Like when people, like what we do is when we pull out our dirt clod, we'll take we use sanitation wipes and we wipe them all down, clean them all out. We don't have a drain in our building, and one of the big things is if you got a drain, you better be cleaning that damn thing. You better be scrubbing it and making sure that no sludge is getting.
Yeah, it better stay
up.
white. You better love that drain.
You better love that drain. That's right.
Love that drain. Make it look brand new every day.
That could be such a problem. Like people that they think it's their soil or something else, and it's their damn drain.
Well, I come from the kennel industry, and one of the big things that I used to really beat into people's heads is you can't just sanitize things. If you don't remove the organic matter, then you're at best, you're just, I don't know, covering things up. You've got to be able to get all the debris off of things. So when it comes to cleaning your lights, don't just spray bleach on them and wipe them off. You know what I mean? Really get in there and clean things the right way.
I want to add on to all those drains too. If you have, I don't know, I have a 5-ton air conditioner. I have dehumidifiers. I have all kinds of traps that I have caps on so that I'm able to pour bleach. I would recommend if you have some type of a trap in your grow room that is made for that, that's a great place for gnats. It's a great place for all kinds of life, mold, whatever. To just pour some bleach down in that trap. Take care of your traps.
Yeah, now see though, guys, the thing of it is that bleach doesn't do anything because it washes away. It doesn't kill anything. So it's always good to use like an enzyme, or organic enzyme, and or what?
Or scrub.
Really, the best thing to do is to unhook it, put a brush through the thing and clean it, then sanitize it with your bleach and put it back on. But that's a misconception that we can dump something down. There's products, but you got to be using the right one, and bleach doesn't do it. And then if you're using an enzyme and you dump bleach on, then it's killing the enzyme. It's really a kind of a crazy deal, And then if you're, in a city water or something, or city sewer or something, you want to make sure that you're putting good things down, not things that screw their systems up too.
That was a great advice. What you guys said, learn how to water. I mean, 100%. I mean, if you have any time you get an outbreak of any pest, it's an imbalance. Something is fucked up somewhere. In the case of gnats, it's usually boom. What they say, you're providing a perfect environment for them. You're leaving the soil too wet for too long. Let your plants dry out.
It's those
But-
vectors I'm talking about, man. You have to know, if you know those vectors in the first place, where it's potentially dangerous. Like Butch had mentioned to me when we spoke last about how there was, oh man, he's gonna have to tell me. I think it was one of the box stores was having a sale on the downward fans, like you see that blows straight down. Do you remember saying that?
Yeah, that was such a great thing you talked about, like installing a fan to come on above the door or whatever, so you can keep a lot of the pests out that way. And Menards sells them, and you can go there and I think it's around $700-800. You can buy one for a 36-inch door, and then you can have an air street, above to not let things in.
Well, and what Mitten Canna Co. does that I think is fantastic is the bleach foot baths. That when we walked in, before you even went down the hallway towards the grow rooms, it was like turn the corner before you go through this doorway, bam, you got to walk through the bleach bath. And I was just, when I seen that, I was like, oh man, these guys, man, they are just on the ball. Shout out to Matt on that.
Yeah, before the bleach bath's a sticky pad too. So we're gonna get anything that we can with a sticky pad, and then we're gonna kill fucking everything else with the bleach. Hopefully, the bleach water.
Yeah, the bleach water. I don't know. I don't.
It's not that it doesn't work. We have other products, so that's why he's trying to act like bleach doesn't work. It's not necessarily that it doesn't work. It's just that you guys think that, like he was saying, you can't just pour it on it and not. You got to get on it. You got to scrub it. You got to pull that drain out. You need to, clean those pots and just go the extra mile as far as that goes. Like Skilbo was saying, you can't just spray a product and then just wipe it off and think that that's enough. You got to really get down in the cracks.
And bleach needs 15 minutes of contact time without drying for it to be effective as a sanitizer, guys. That's some Humane Society of the United States stuff there, outside of the industry. Could use quaternary ammonium, though. Do you guys know what that is? Like a quat cleaner? Those kill a whole bunch of stuff. They're usually like a 1 gallon cuts to like 256 gallons. You can mess with that too.
Well, when we are resetting a room, so what I mean by resetting a room is when we've harvested and there's no plants in the room and we're cleaning it up before we put more plants down. What we've actually switched to is, man, I'm going to have to write the name of this thing down, but it's a machine that you hook your hose to and you turn it on and it infuses ozone into water. So it's like ozonated.
What? That's great.
It's like ozonated water and perfectly safe. I can
cost $50,000.
No, it costs $0. They sent it to us to try out. So,
lucky you. That's sweet, man.
So instead of mopping with like bleach, we can just fill it up with the ozonated water. When we do the tables, we'll spray that. We'll use that ozonated water to clean the tables, and it's blasting all the viruses. It's just, and it's safe. I mean, it's just.
Your rooms have to be ventilated for that.
No, because it's in the water. It's when it fractions off, it's going to just turn right back into a regular water, and then release that extra oxygen, because ozone is 3 oxygens, right? And water is H2O. So the way it was described in the booklet was the reason it's got all the safety, past all the safety crap, was because the only thing that it emitted was oxygen. That was what the byproduct was. So oxygen.
Or be exempt.
Yeah. So pretty cool stuff. So annihilates all the stuff that we're getting tested for, like the microbials and all that crap.
Bingo.
And it's super safe, and we can touch it with our bare hands. You know what I mean? If we have to, we still use gloves, but I mean, it's nice to know that if it splashes on us, we don't have to act like acid.
It's nice that
So you don't got to worry about getting in your eyes or nothing like that.
It's nice that you guys do that, because one of the places I actually will go in between their harvests, and they don't pay someone to do that. They pay me to do that. So I will go in there with a product. I use a little backpack. I'm the same thing. I raise up the lights. Anything from about the electrical units down will cover up, and then the floors, the drains. I mean, we get down, I scrub them. I'm looking at a couple other products that are like foam that you can spray in the rooms, and it kind of is like degrades and stuff.
I've seen those. Those are pretty cool too.
Yeah, I've been checking those out online. They look pretty sweet. So.
They went through a room. I watched the video. They went through and they sprayed everything. There was like pictures on the wall. They were up in the office area. They were spraying everything, and everything was covered in foam. And then they came back and it just dissipates. It's just gone.
Spartan, how big is one flower room and how big is one table? in your at Benton Cannaco?
I have no. Let me see. The tables are 40 foot long, and I'm guesstimating they're at least. I would say they're 4 foot. They're 4 foot wide for sure. And we
Think
have
of trying to clean those by hand, like really
we
get
do.
in there. Damn.
We do. And there's 3 of them per room, and we have 6 rooms.
Wow.
Yeah, and the thing is we walked in there, it was immaculate. I mean, immaculate. There's nothing, and I don't know. Abolished, you know what I'm saying? We were just floored.
Yeah, especially like all the horror stories and stuff you hear about big grows and whatnot. And we go there and it's just clean everywhere.
Like you have to wear glasses because it's so
Yeah.
fucking blinding in there.
Yeah, and we were saying that the double pads where you're walking through sticky pads and then the bleach water or whatever, like stuff like that. I was just blown away.
I don't see anybody running, lighted fly traps.
Oh, like the
Yeah,
ones that they used to have in like the military kitchens and stuff like that. The ones on the
We
wall.
could have it outside
Yeah.
the door though. That would be good.
Every like we do a clean room over here in Elk Rapids, and we have to, full suit, the whole deal, and then we go through and we have those lighted UV light traps, and then we have glue boards in all of them. So then we measure the bugs, and then we put down how many bugs we caught, and it's like by the grid and stuff. And I'm just surprised more grows don't do them.
That's funny you mentioned that because most people, those sticky cards or whatever they call them, sticky cards or sticky traps, and they don't realize they're actually what you're saying. It's for identification of pests. It's not to, you're not putting it there to try to catch the pests.
Not a
You're putting it
control.
there to identify that you have a problem.
Amen. That's right. Exactly.
It's not flypaper.
It's not going to cure the problem. It's going to alert you so you know the problem is coming, and then you can make a corrective action and fix it.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's go back outdoors for a minute again because it was the season. You guys you said you do not treat outdoor plants, right?
We don't have the cert for it, and right now, I mean, I'm telling you, we're some of the first in the state legal to come into an indoor grow and treat the room and the plants. Us three, we got, the certification. I worked with the Department of Ag, and our guy said, we got this. It was something that was on the books that was for like when they had a grow garden at like the mall or something, the interior plantscapes. And so what they really did was they took this cert that they've always had and then just repurposed it. And now they're going to change the wording in the stuff because what we had nothing to do with marijuana. It was all just, interior plants and stuff like that.
MSU. Me and Scobo were talking about that last time. Like I said, there's no prerequisites besides what you've done, trial and error. You know what I'm saying? Unless you've grown and tried, you don't really know. So,
what was the question?
He was saying outside. I know what the question was, and it's one of those things. It's just like basically what I would say is that there's not just one product. If you're going to use a product, I'd highly recommend it's on the MRA approved list. And I mean, you can stick towards an organic product. There's Azamax out there. There's Nature Side's not a bad product. But again, we always preach, outside's a different story than inside, just because you have it's not controlled and stuff. But it's just hard to recommend those products because the second that you do, what happens? They call you back and say, I fried my shit. So it's hard for us to recommend, things like that because they take you for granted, and if something happens, then it's a tough situation.
It really is. He's absolutely right.
What a perfect disclaimer, man! I love it.
We've been there, done that type of deal, honestly. Yeah. So I'm just trying to be straight with you guys.
The only universal thing that I can think of, I'm sitting here smoking, trying to get the power to come up with ideas, and I got two things I can think that would help anybody growing outdoors, IPM wise, and that's one, if you're throwing it in the ground, which is a great thing to do, make sure the area is at least mowed down. Keep it down low. You know what I mean? Kind of like the same idea I said about, what we do at Mint and Canico, because if you don't make the environment around your plant hospitable to the insects, they're not likely going to be there. Keep it low to the ground, because that's where they hide. That's the whole idea. If they're out in the open, then predators can get them, birds and everything else. That's all the other bugs and crap that's out there. And then the second thing is kind of along the same lines, but if you're putting it into a pot, you can put it in a fabric pot and put it right on the ground. That elevates you up over, hopefully, grass or anything else that you have down there, just by putting it in the pot. It kind of elevates it up off the ground, and it gets you away from like things that crawl across the ground, like a slug or a snail or something like that, because you're a little elevated. And the roots can still grow through that thing into the ground. You still can get into the ground. You still have the benefit of that. But now you're elevated, it helps you. And that's the only thing I could think of. But those two things, I had two things.
That's good, because I'm asking because I know a lot of us are either getting ready to go into the ground right now or by June 1st or so. And, I know that there's still questions about it. And I have a monster plant that I want to take outside because I have over-vegged my shit. Not like through time, but just because my lights have actually gotten better. So if I take what's in my bedroom right now and try to throw it in my flower, I'm just going to whack it all down. So why not take one of those beauties outside and see what Mother Nature can do?
Yeah, I'm taking 3 big plants for my indoors outside this year, and I'm basically depending on the hypostasis miles and centipedes and whatever else is established in my soil over the whatever past couple of grows in there. And also we put Swarovskis in there, and along with rotating my soap nuts, and I'm going to bring in Dr. Zymes for the outdoor season. That's all I'm going to depend on. I'm hoping the established environment that I have, or whatever in my pots, with all those like mites, because like you pick up one handful of my soil, there's thousands of them fuckers in there. I just feel like I'm gonna have a really good start, and my plants are gonna be so big that I'm not really gonna have any pest issues. Like if they come, they're not gonna do shit to these monsters.
They're definitely healthy and hardy enough to be able to take a little beating. I want to try the skunk one outdoors.
That's what I'm doing. I'm doing 2 skunk ones and 1 pineapple cane.
It only seems right to grow a skunk one in Michigan outdoors and see what happens.
Can't wait to make the whole neighborhood smell like poop.
Red, what about you? What's going in the ground this year outside?
Well, let's see. I just stuck kind of a little bit of everything. So like a runt of every strain. So there's like a flow. There's a rainbow driver. There's a grape glee. There's a Death Star. There's 3 little grape apes because they're nice and short. And I'm actually going to use them to kind of fill in some like, I don't know, actual like landscaping and stuff. I like to like do permaculture, and at the same time I also like to pattern it out and make it visually appealing. So I'm kind of playing with the height game, and so I'm kind of have those planned out. I'm kind of like a landscaping type of a thing, all within like the caged in garden, of course. So for IPM, I'm kind of with Abolished. I think I'm going to give the Dr. Zymes a whirl this season. I normally don't spray. Last year, I had a little issue with some green aphids, some black aphids. So I'm going to, on top of the permaculture, what I did this year different is I got a handful of brassicas. I got some cabbage. I got some kale. I got a broccoli. I got some chard, some basic brassicas that I'm going to put kind of on like in my raised bed areas, which are, we'll call them, 50 feet from where my cannabis patch is. Maybe I'll put them, but I'm going to try to use those maybe as a banker for aphids. Aphids really like those. And then I'm going to treat those with Dr. Zymes and things, of course. So yeah, I'm actually going to try to not spray the cannabis as much as I can, but more or less use the essential oils for the vegetables. And the other plants throughout the garden. I got a whole slew of wildflowers that I'm putting in, and I'm also doing some zinnias to try to attract some natural predators. And then because of the tick issue that I'm having down here, I'm going to actually treat my yard with some nematodes. I'm just going to spend, $60 and get a 50 million, I believe, treat an acre. My yard is a third of an acre, so I'm going to be able to utilize a couple treatments on my yard, and then also utilize some of those nematodes in my cannabis garden. So that's what I'm going to try to treat in the spring and try to do everything as natural as I can. I have a bad feeling, man, that like you know, because of a lot of this shutdown, so many lawn companies have not been spraying. My neighbors' yards have not been spraying, which we all think of it as a great thing, and it is a great thing that they're not spraying. But we are such a monoculture, monocropped society that there's just not enough natural enemies left to take care of. If they stop spraying, we have no natural enemies. Unfortunately, there's no nematodes, you know, in my cornfield subdivision, I'd imagine, left. So I have to add them myself. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to bring on my natural enemies myself, because they're just going to start spraying now. I mean, they went a whole month or two without any pesticides, which is great. I'm happy. I was able to breathe. So here we go. Rock and roll. That's what I'm
And
gonna
that's the bottom line, because Red Setter said so.
Yeah.
I really like the banker plant idea. I like that a lot. That's a great idea.
I'm gonna try to toss some other ones out there and do my research, but for right now, I'm working with the brassicas, and then I think underneath, so where my cannabis is actually gonna be planted, that's where I'm gonna plant my creeping thyme and some stuff that's gonna actually stay low, and I know will hopefully help repel mites. So I use it as the mite preventative there, and then for the soil pests, of course, it'll be the nematode. Hopefully, will help.
So something I really want to beat into people's heads when it comes to IPM is not just doing one thing. You want to hit them from a multi-pronged attack. Like say fungus gnats, for example. You do your dry outs, you know, you go to your wicking, you throw some rice hulls on the top, you make sure you do no watering from the top for a while. You bring in the ninja toads, the H miles, then you take care of them. It's not just one thing. Any pest, it's always going to be a multi-pronged attack to take them out. And it's never going to be an overnight thing unless you're using something nasty.
I'd agree with that 100%.
I would say that you have to follow the directions too, because let's say that you are using something that says it has to be reapplied every 3 days. Follow the directions. There's a reason for that, because usually the life cycle, you're trying to interrupt the life cycle so that you can eradicate the entire population and not just the adults.
All right, and now's the section of the show where Spartan says something that's not popular, but he's so high he doesn't care. Now, I've grown outdoor for, I don't know, for a while, we'll just say. And honestly, if I get a pest infestation out, or if I get pests outside in an outdoor situation, I hardly care, usually. Because, I mean, I might take the leaf off if I find it on a leaf. But that's usually nature provides. Usually, if they get up to a sizable population, something else comes to eat the shit out of them. If it gets to be where it was like a damage to where I'm starting to see like a good portion of my plant, like a quarter of my plant is starting to have issues, then I'm going to start to worry. But don't freak out, guys. I mean, a lot of the times, nature will find a way, and it'll, its predators will show up. If you have a sizable population of food below you, you tend to go towards it. So the predators see the plant that they want, or I mean, the bugs see the plant they want to eat, so they go to the green. I mean, a lot of them are attracted to green. That's where their food is. So when they land on there, well, once they start breeding and get a sizable population, now against the green, some predator is going to recognize them once their population gets high enough. Let nature work for you, man. That's all I want to say.
It totally works, man. Balance. Because, I mean, anybody on the panel or anybody in chat, has anybody done an outdoor plant where a pest, there hasn't been at least one bite or something going on it? Not that the pest, took over and killed your plant or, webbed it up or anything, but they showed up for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, I have strawberries, I have raspberries. Both are known, to invite mites. Spider mites specifically. I have. I just hope that there's more defenses than that. I hope, I tried to not just clear my land and have it only wood chips and cannabis plants, because I feel like if I were to do that, then I wouldn't have pollinators and in other foliage around, that are going to invite predators in to help keep those things clear. Yeah, you could say, well, I just won't grow strawberries, but that's kind of the point of permaculture, is I want to invite the bees in for the strawberries, and actually birds. Sometimes I want to invite the birds in.
Yep, the permaculture is the key to that.
They're going to poop in the garden, man. The bird, I mean, just like, chicken poop and stuff like that. I want bird poop just the same.
Hey, man, is that bird poop OG, baby? Look at how white and frosty that is.
Hey, shout out to an early Bro Show episode for that one.
Hey, what about mites? What about mites and nitrogen? You know, I've seen a lot of times is somebody's like got this big old mansion up on top of the hill. You know what I mean? There's nothing around them like the big open field, and then they're fertilizing and they're watering and all this stuff. Next thing you know, they're calling. They got mites just attacking the house by the thousands. Like you can't even believe it. And then what I figured out over the years is that they're using a lot of fertilizer and nitrogen on the yard, and it is attracting the mites to them. And it's another reason why when you have this strong nitrogen, soil and stuff, not putting it on your property and stuff and getting rid of it so it doesn't attract them. My biggest thing is with all the hemp producers, like what's people going to do at the end of the year when the hemp starts pollinating and it flies.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. That's the biggest issue over any pest right now is gonna be pollen. Pollen's gonna be
seeds is gonna produce. It's like shit.
He laughs at it. He thinks it's funny. I don't at all, because there's one in between our road that's doing like a 5-acre hemp farm, and I'm like, bro. You keep the wind blowing your way, man.
We have a northwest wind and this shit's blowing right across our property. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you're gonna want to have some kind of
hoop house or something to cover. I don't
UV
know.
light, one of those UV lights in your intake duct or something to maybe I think that'll fuck up pollen. UV.
Well, we're talking outdoor now, though. There ain't shit you can.
Well, yeah, outdoor you're just fucked. Outdoor you're fucked.
We'll have to invent some kind of.
Be honest,
So I'm gonna get this out to the universe. Someone's gonna invent some kind of like a ionizing screen or something that you can just kind of put up, in the western face of your garden, so that as the wind blows through, it'll like particulate and kill off whatever pollen comes through. It's rock and roll with that.
We could GMO and make sterile plants, but I mean. People
I got it. Here's my frugal way to solve it this summer. I'm just gonna take a sprinkler and toss that son of a bitch on top of my greenhouse. Keep the outside consistently wet once it starts to get into flower. No active pollens get in there.
A real fine mist, but you won't even feel it once it gets to the ground. But it's just enough. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Is a HEPA filter in a greenhouse enough to block out pollen and stuff? I'd imagine.
I think so. Yeah.
You gotta be careful when you're opening the doors, of course.
Yes, for sure.
Your best bet on a greenhouse would be negative pressure. So when you open that door, you're getting air pushing at you, and then HEPA filtration if you got any intake.
I think you might mean positive pressure. Do you mean positive pressure?
Positive,
so the air's pushing at you.
Negative poles, positive.
I mean, when you open the door, the shit hits you. I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
It's like when you're blowing the sides of your tent out, and your tent's all bowed out on the sides.
Actually, that's a good IPM. That's a great IPM that hasn't been mentioned yet. Also,
actually, they did. He brought it up for it. Well,
oh, he did. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's similar. It was similar. It was just moving air through the door, but.
Oh, okay.
This is cheaper, and everybody already has a fan that you could make that work.
Keep in mind, it will exhaust your smell into that area, so you might want to also.
Well, so a solution to that would be to get a second fan and carbon filter that you just set up in the room and keep plugged in, so that you're keeping the room itself carbon fresh.
Because then you're losing CO2 too. The best is just the pressure. It's just like seal the room. If you want to do it right, seal your greenhouse or whatever, and then make sure that you have a higher pressure inside than you do outside.
So because I don't have any air leaving or entering my rooms, it's all just sealed. I actually have like a little floor fan, kind of like a box fan, but it's kind of tilted at an angle almost towards the ceiling. It serves two purposes. It blows at the door. So as I open the door, it kind of blows anything that might be at the ground or whatever. And, it kind of blows it back at me. But it also, because I have differential temperatures in the wintertime, it's really cold, and in summertime, in the wintertime, it's really cold outside of the rooms and really hot and humid inside. So it causes all kind of condensation actually on my steel door. And that itself causes other issues with fungals and things, right? You get mildew, you get mold around your door. I have to constantly wipe it. So this circulating the air on the door actually prevents the condensation from forming. So it serves both these purposes in the winter, and then in the summer, it helps prevent with bugs coming in. So if you can possibly, if you have a room or something, that's what I've been doing to kind of mitigate both of those issues, just using a simple fan that's on a swivel.
Parker put his greenhouse next to some lilacs, and he was getting what was we getting from that? They give off mold,
Detritus or something like that.
detritus or something. So an aphid, yeah, right. And so the lilac bushes, I would definitely try to stay away from them if you could, or cut them down. How do you cut them down? But stay away from them.
Damn, I agree. I have one that just sits in the back, and it definitely gets like a powdery mildew on it for sure. Most of the time in the late season, huge lilac bush. Yeah, I wonder about that. If that's
Dude, I got a 15-footer.
Interesting.
Yeah, big 15-foot with lilacs in the back too. And I've always, like, in the summertime, I hate mowing by that area. I'm like, oh shit, man. I know there's got to be PM and shit flying around.
What about ticks? I want to talk about ticks. You guys sound like you're getting them.
Yeah, dude. I pulled 2 off my dog in the last couple of days. We pulled them off ourselves. We had them on a hand towel in the bathroom out in Jackson County. Yeah, man, getting them everywhere.
Super wet.
You ever drag the yard?
No, I actually just learned about that yesterday or today when I was doing a little bit of research on how to prevent them, where you like take a piece of cloth and run it across your yard on a stick or something.
Yeah.
Towel and a trowel.
Yeah, just a towel and like an old flagpole thing, and you're dragging it along. My house on Beaver Island, I about shit myself because the vet up there, when it just became a thing about 5 years ago, they tell us it's just going to get worse every year. And so he came to my house, and I let my grass grow up. The best thing you can do with ticks in your yard is to keep the grass down. They can't survive in your yard. It's the outer, it's where the trees start and stuff. That's where they're out there trying to, what do they call that when they're searching for a host? They just go up to the top of the grass, and they just wait to transfer to you and then get on you and dive into you. They're amazing creatures, but the biggest thing with ticks is that a lot of times they're not in your yard. A lot of times the mice and birds and things are carrying them. And there's a new product out that we're getting ready to buy and offer for our tick control. We do an organic tick control. And then there's this product called Thermocell. You can buy it on the internet. It's little paper tubes with pyrethrin treated little tubes. They break down, but the mice come and they use it as a nesting material. And so it's far reaching, farther than you can spray, farther. I mean, they tout 100% that it's not that you won't have ticks, but they won't have Lyme's disease.
They get the Lyme from the host.
So I actually saw a thing on how to make those little bombs that you're talking about. If you take like toilet paper tubes and cut them in half, and then soak cotton balls in perethrins, and then like just huck them into your grass like as far as you can, and then the mice come and take them and carry it around, and it fucking spreads that shit everywhere. So like my yard is pretty small and I don't really have ticks, but like my parents' house has tons of them. So next time I go over there, I'm just gonna bring a bag full of fucking tick bombs. And
somebody mentioned about it's like they use nematodes on them, or they have a toad that has special nematodes.
No, nematode, yeah. SF and I think HB, I think the combination helps take care of not the actual tick itself, but it helps the female, it does something to the female to where she can't, like, it kills off her eggs, it makes her unable to lay eggs or something like that. I don't know.
It's like a growth regulator.
Something like that. Nematodes will they'll eat larvae of fungus gnats, and they'll eat larvae. They're like little soil creatures. Spartan probably could tell you a little bit more about them than I could, like scientifically wise. But
well, I just know they're like microscopic little worm things. But yeah, I don't know that they do much to. I don't know. I'd have to.
Yeah, they're not like
do
a
search.
bug. They're not a.
I think it takes too large for them to affect. But maybe I hadn't heard that.
Well,
but maybe they can.
It appeared that nematodes were part of like tick IPM, or not IPM, but like tick management, from because I've been kind of doing a little bit of research on what I can use.
We don't deal too much with bugs, obviously. You're combating bugs with bugs. I mean, in our industry has and things, but
The
Me
closest
personally,
we get to that is fungus for bed bugs. That's about it.
yeah, we use a mushroom for bed bugs, and
That's interesting. And I mean, that's good to know too, because bed bugs can, I mean, they can get into your cannabis garden and cause a ruckus.
No, they can't.
No, sir.
No, just
Well,
bed.
aren't they like we had a scare one time. Our buddy had a bed bug issue, and we weren't trying to mess with that because we were afraid they were gonna mess with our cannabis. So we shouldn't be afraid with bed bugs. We shouldn't have any kind of
Yeah, no, bed bugs want to bite you
Blood
and feed off
suckers.
of you. So
Oh,
they
okay.
rarely hang out within like 2 to
Not as far as not like they won't want to try to nest in the plant. I'm not
No.
that they'll eat the plant, but they won't even try to nest in them or
The main
anything.
bugs obviously are your aphids, your fungus gnats, your
Okay.
spider mites, and then there's one other I can't think of. Thrips. Thrips are a big one as well. So those are your three main ones. But no, like you was saying, those the bed bugs are blood suckers, so they shouldn't be going after your candy.
Okay. Yeah, I was just thinking my thought of it wasn't that they were actually like eating on the plant material, but they would like want to use the biological materials like nesting, kind of like they do under mattresses and you know, in the cotton and stuff.
No, they want to be within 2 to 3 feet. They don't have very good eyesight. They're not
Gotcha.
easy crawlers.
That makes sense. They want to be right next to their blood source.
And
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they're like they want to come eat and leave. Go right back to bed and reproduce.
Yeah, I don't know why we were so freaked out about, you know, our buddy had bed bugs and we were like, we don't want to get, you know, that's like a mite. We don't want to mess with that, you know.
Red, it's like when you go to a big buffet, you know how people like always hit up the guy that works the grill so they can get the cheap steaks and stuff like that. That nobody's crowding the salad bar. So it sounds like our friends at Ticks would be buffet type folks.
Sounds like it.
I just Googled it. So nematodes will kill the larvae of like fleas and ticks and a bunch of other shit in the soil. So that's how nematodes can be helpful. And it sounds like they're actually kind of a good idea. And especially like, so I live in a neighborhood where there's constantly cats roaming around. So I constantly have to do flea treatments. You know what I mean? So like just for that, now I think I'm going to spray nematodes in my yard.
Yeah, that's right. It was fleas was the other thing that they'll take care of. Yep.
Debbie Daly says, can't you just spray around apple cider vinegar? Does anybody have any points on that?
We were kind of discussing not the apple cider vinegar, but we were talking about ticks like right before the show. And what I wanted to know is like how hardy are ticks? Like are enzymes pretty effective on them? Are soaps pretty effective? Because enzymes and soaps I can produce on a mass level for free.
Usually like a tick spray or anything like that you use for yourself that's made out of like plant essential oils and stuff would be like peppermint and tea tree is also supposed to be really effective for tick repellent.
I mean, if you're getting down like a soap nuts rabbit hole, I don't see why they would like soap nuts. I would imagine that it would act as a repellent for them somehow, some way, you know?
Like,
That's
would
kind of
that work to
that.
like spray your yard to help keep ticks away with soap nuts for like your kids and your dogs and things like that?
I can answer that question.
Yeah.
You know, again, they're not living in the mulch or the yard, the mowed yard. If your yard is manicured and mowed, you never want the yard to get like, you know, 2 foot deep or anything because they love that environment. So if you keep your yard mowed, then you go to the edge where the woods start, where the shrubbery is and stuff. A lot of times, that's where they hang out. So you can spray those areas with organic. Ticks hate anything. I'm just telling you, I wouldn't doubt that soaps work and stuff, but I know that DEET is the product. I mean, if you spray yourself in your pants with DEET off and go hiking, you'll never get a tick on you. I've in 30 years, I've never gotten a tick on me. But one thing that's very, very important is that when you think you have that bump or something in a spot that you can't see, someone needs to inspect that on you, you know, and you need to watch it to see if there's the bullseye rash so that you can get the antibiotics so you don't get the limes. A lot of places live with ticks even worse than we have them, but they say that the western side of the state, and if you look up ticks in the Department of Ag and things, they'll see a lot of the sightings are on the west side. It's really weird. I don't know. It's where things gravitate and come from. But They hate anything, you know. They don't like any kind of pesticide or repellent or anything. But, you know, I wouldn't want to use something that I didn't know worked and think that I was protecting myself. I'm just telling you, DEET works.
Yeah, I second the D. I'm not big on like I'll use it when I'm going in the woods and stuff, but I really hate spraying that stuff. I've just heard some.
Me too. It makes me like I was in the Marine Corps and we had the 100% DEET, and I'm just telling you, I'd be like laying there looking at the stars, like what the fuck? I thought I was.
Yeah, I definitely like will treat my shoes. I'll treat my clothes. Yeah, I follow a couple like foraging forums and things like that. And I've seen some like naturalists who like won't use DEET, say that rosemary oil, and there's actually a combination rosemary oil and something else. So you'll have to look it up because I don't want to give the wrong concoction off the top of my head, but there is a concoction, I guess, rosemary, and planting rosemary in your yard is also supposed to be a repellent for them.
Be careful using DEET because it will eat, like, it's super corrosive to like synthetics and plastic. So if you spray it on like your rubber boots, then later you wipe them, you can like wipe away part of your boot. Or if you have like a nice rain jacket and you spray DEET on there, you don't have a nice rain jacket anymore.
Nice. Oh, that sucks. So is it gonna kill like the silicone like waterproofing that I put on my boot? Is that what you're saying? Probably.
Will it kill the silicone waterproofing? Like fuck up the waterproofing?
Yeah.
I would imagine so. It just eats through shit. Like it'll eat sunglasses, good sunglasses and shit. If you spray really concentrated DEET on stuff that's synthetic, it eats it.
Dang.
Just a caution.
I don't want DEET anywhere by my eyes.
What about pyrethrin treated clothing? That's an option. You can get pyrethrin treated clothing when they're really bad. What I think's going on though is a lot of people have, it sounds like Red Setter has a pet, and the pet goes running around and then brings the ticks inside his home. And so then he's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
We're all out there running around, rolling around. Yeah.
Who doesn't see Red in the backyard rolling around with his dog in the mud, barking happily back and forth like he's on some kind of peyote
under
trip.
Our fingernails here.
On some wild peyote trip with a dog.
Red's the one bringing in the ticks.
Naked Indians, man. The desert.
Red's giving the dog ticks.
You got to check for him then. You just
give it the dog. Hey, I swear the dog didn't put it on that hand towel. It had to have come off of one of us. That one kind of blew my mind. But yeah, Miss Red keeps finding them, man, everywhere. So
for her, she's looking then.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, like, so the way that I kind of found it on the dog is I'm just sitting there petting them. I think Skilbo and I brought that up when I just pet your dogs, but it kind of felt like a skin tag. It didn't feel like a mole or anything like that. It's more like a skin tag. You can feel underneath it and the top, and you got to get it with tweezers. And you got to pull
definitely
it.
Get
don't
the head.
Twist it. Yep, and you got to get the head. And if you try to make sure you can get it within 2 hours. Sorry, sir. What did you say?
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
No.
He was saying it's the body, you want to focus on the body because what happens is they'll puke the stuff that is effective to you into you essentially. If you pull them off the wrong way.
Well, you can get a cheap ass tick puller for like $2 or $3. It's really worth investing in. It looks like a spork with a little cut in it that you just get underneath and give them a little pry bar. Almost like you're trying to take the door paneling off of like a big Silverado or something. You just got to get under that tree just right and pop it.
I have a request. Can we stop talking about ticks? It's fucking creeping me the fuck out.
You know what? I want to give Miss Cantaloupe gets all the credit in the world because she has not sat here itching all night. I've watched her from afar. Like, she is just doing miraculous because I know how much it bugs you.
I have been itching.
Get it? I said bugs you?
Like,
no, that just one flew right by.
I'm like purposely like trying not to touch my face and stuff, but
as you guys are describing pulling them out, I'm hearing the sound that it makes when I pull them out of my dog, and it's just like, God, come on, can we stop with this shit?
They make a little like it's like a teaspoon, and then it's got a V cut in it, and it's really cool. You can like in your pet, you can like dig them out. It's really badass.
Yes, the sport.
I'll have to check into that.
Yeah, we can. Oh wow. Yeah, we We got all kinds of shit going on here at this house. I don't know if you heard that. Miss Red I guess there's a mouse or something. So we got that going on right now. So this is fun. Dioji does a great job at catching them too. I'm sure he already got it and took it. We got one this morning.
Red, you have like the best technical difficulties. Remember when you didn't have power and then we got the big hooray when the power came back on? And we love you, Red.
No, I love you guys too, man. It's great. I'm glad we did get to talk about ticks for just a second though. And we can totally stop talking about it, Spartan. I agree.
I want to say cheers to the 124 people that are listening along with us and definitely laughing at Redsteader's stories.
Yeah, man. Well, Debbie Daly says that she I'm sorry, I don't know. Could be a guy, could be a lady, I don't know. But they said they had the ticks. So dang, man, we got so much going on. I got Lyme disease from a West Texas tick bite. So yeah, that's something that I just wanted PSA today and talk about ticks for just a minute because we got them going on right now and it's dangerous.
I see is dying down there too. Look at her.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep my thoughts going and smoke. And I'm gonna go check on Miss Red real quick, guys. So I'll be right back.
Cheers. Isn't it always a good time on the Bro Show Live? I swear you never know what the hell the topic's going to be, but you're going to laugh at some point during this show.
I was still kind of already dying at Red giving the dog ticks, but then him not knowing if Debbie is a male or a female just really fucking got me.
Icing.
I think Red just said he got Lyme disease too, so I wasn't trying to laugh at that, but I'm still laughing from before.
What do you guys think of the show? It's a live one, isn't it?
He was just stuck in loop for a second. He was all right. He just had to get out of that.
Just always needs that baby come back at some point during the show.
He was saying that Debbie in chat had pointed out that she had gotten Lyme disease from getting a tick bite, so that like it is important to keep those things under control. Like it's not just Rocky like Mountain Spotted Fever. It's not just like a gross pest. It's like a thing that can cause serious issues. So that's why it's a.
Wait, stop him from gardening.
What's
that? It's your health we're talking about. You may not be able to grow any damn weed.
There you go. Keep your priorities straight.
That's right.
Hey, I'll keep my grass mowed. I can do that.
Nobody wants to hear about your manscaping, Spartan. Nobody wants to hear about your manscaping.
Oh, yeah. You can see I do that. I can do a lot of that.
Manscaping ad has been everywhere. They're going to end up hitting soon.
So just really one more thing about Lyme disease. I follow a guy on Instagram named Nick Risden, and that's his Instagram. And he has, I had to look it up, Powassan encephalitis, which is like some super rare fucked up complication from Lyme disease. So if you want to see why it's important not to get it, go look at his Instagram, and he's very open about what Lyme disease did to him and what it's like living with Lyme disease and what a like fucked up, horrible disease it is. So like that's the last of the TikTok lecture, I guess.
So I gotta ask, since we have you here, and I've never set up in this kind of environment. My greenhouse is going into basically a swamp. Is there any kind of like unique pests or anything that I would need to look out for that I don't normally do, like say out in a field?
To be honest, we're not really experts in the outdoor field. So like, I don't really have the best answer or response.
I'd say mosquitoes.
Yeah, but nothing that's gonna affect the plant. Sure, I don't think there's anything you're gonna have to worry about. Like, I mean,
it's out of the ordinary.
No, definitely not.
How is trees? Do you have trees overhanging? Because if you do, caterpillars are gonna be fucking with you all the time.
I have a couple feet.
What do you mean? Gypsy moth or what? What do you know? Like, have you identified that caterpillar?
No, I don't plant under trees, man. I don't have to fuck with them.
So there is trees in the swamp, but it's like a perfect line. I still have I have a couple feet, and I can increase that distance if I want up to probably say 10 feet from the trees, and place the greenhouse.
I would do as far as you can from the tree.
to speak on that, I totally fucked up my outdoor last year because we hadn't talked to Spartan Grown yet, and he didn't have the time to tell me not to plant under a fucking tree. So definitely listen to him. And when you do plant under trees, definitely make sure that they aren't acidic ass pine trees either. That's just doubling down on dumb, folks.
Yeah, that's a whole nother set of issues.
That was a super learning experience.
A 1-2 punch.
God, the swamp thing, I just don't have anything for that.
Yeah. It's hard to say.
Godspeed, John Glenn. That's what we have for that.
I lost I did 2 plants last year and I lost them pretty much both. We salvaged a few ounces, but the late rain got us.
Well, I tried to warn you all too. I was like, are you going to take that down yet? Remember, Old Man was the one that was having the hardest time with it. It was just like, that poor dude. But then we ended up smoking it all, and everybody raved about how fantastic it was, man. The garlic cane, the Carmella, and the Blue Nana. Which, oh, wait, Blue Nana reference. Red, do you want to hit the line? What's the name of the strain, Red?
Banana hammock, dude.
My dude.
Blue banana hammock. Dude, Bagseed said frogs. What do you guys think about them little tiny frogs? Do you think tree frogs or anything like that will mess with abolish plants?
Oh,
No.
those frogs are everywhere out there.
They should be beneficial. They'd be eating bugs.
Yeah, I know they'll eat bugs. I'm wondering if they'll mess it up somehow.
If you go back on my Instagram, I'd say
that's good if not.
It's been at least 2 years or so since frogs have been in there. But I used to have at least 1 or 2 gray tree frogs that would migrate into my grow, and they would hang out there, and they would never be an issue.
Cool.
And another thing is Alan Atkinson from Grokashi. He always preached about how your frog count, like the more frogs you have in your area, the more or the healthier the environment is, because that's what ecologists use to base whatever the health of environment.
Yeah, because they absorb crap through their skin, so they're the first to die.
Yeah, it's a biological indicator because they're in water and on land. So like if there's a problem with either one.
Did it get mentioned yet? It's not really a pest, but the humidity would probably, so you might have to take care of maybe some fungal issues out there.
So you're saying to maybe plug in an outdoor fan if he's got the ability to run
Outdoor
something?
dehumidifier. No, yeah, if possible, but I don't know, but maybe just keep up on the defoliating and things like that.
And really tie the plant down and open it up. You know what I mean?
So that's 2 things that we thought about pretty much right off rip, and we're gonna have more than enough. We're gonna have extra box fans in there because the humidity. And the other thing with the mosquitoes, yeah, that's gonna suck. But we're hoping that our soap nets can solve that too, because they're so cheap. I can literally just take it and go cast a whole bucket of them out in the swamp.
So are you planning on having like? I know you're doing the wicking beds. Are you doing like, is there free standing water, or is it below the hydroton enough that the mosquitoes wouldn't really get down to it? And
the water should only be like when it's at its lowest, it should only be at the hydroton level, and then when it's whenever we get any kind of rain or whatever, it should raise up. I'd say only an inch.
And then there's probably like, are you able to keep soap nuts like in your wicking container like that? Are you able to just leave it in there? Yeah.
You know what I would do is
that wouldn't work.
Look, you're going to use, I don't know if you have running water, if this is some kind of guerrilla grow, and it doesn't really matter. But if you're way out far away from a water source, what you can do is you can get a small hydroponic pump and get the right fittings, hook it up so that you can have like a sprayer wand. And if you get that, you'll be able to spray out there and keep that all taken care of. You know what I mean? Because then you'll be able to get one of those, the things that you put on for your yard where you put in there and the water mixes with the soap. You could put the soap nuts down inside of that and then spray all over around your plants and everything else with the soap nut solution. And then if you did that every, I would say every 4 or 5 days, just as a guess, see if that could help you.
I'm thinking if Dr. Zymes does what they say it does with the fungals and helping powdery mildew, you should be okay with the high humidity as long as you got the right genetics to keep the botrytis out, I'd imagine.
So like the swamp itself is, I'd say, an inch, maybe 2 inches lower than the actual yard. So when I dig out the wicking bed, that's why I mean, like the water level is never going to get too bad, because even when it rains heavy, there it's what it wouldn't. It's not more than a few inches above.
It's like an incline.
Yeah, it's incline too.
Do you have some way for your bed? I mean, obviously, if it fills up too much, it just what overflows the side, or do you have some overflow for it to drain? Maybe drill a hole or something.
The bed will be. I've decided to build the bed into the actual ground and use that, so it's just going to have a natural runoff. But I want I still want the hydrogen and everything there for it to root out and get all that.
You know, and I think it's just like anything else. The first outdoor grow somewhere is going to be one for learning for you. And if you can bring something to harvest at the end, everything is the merrier. But then it's our seasons 2 and 3, because then you're going to be sweetening that soil up because you're building a raised bed. So you're going to get it all working and cooking and everything else. This is just to see where the kinks are at, really.
It'd be cool if I can work it out, because if it taps into that water system there in the swamp, and then it's a cocoa base, so you really can't ever technically overwater it. It's just going to be a set it and forget it type of thing, other than cleaning up, especially after the first month. Well, actually, not even that, because I'm putting such big plants out there, they're going to go right in and get going.
Wow.
I like that Haas Farms dragonflies help. You got dragonflies back there yet? You seen any of those out there? That might be a good
I haven't
beneficial.
seen any yet, but there normally is dragonflies out there.
Sweet. That's good to know.
What county are you in?
We're in Wayne County, but we're on like the Wayne-Washtenaw border.
Do they mosquito spray there?
I think, did we make that list last year?
They didn't spray where we were at last year, but they do put like pellets in the water.
Yeah, it's called larviciding, and it's actually BT, Basilica thurgis, and you know, seems like that killed most of any other pest that they're treating you. You know what I mean?
Those are pretty cheap too. I can just grab a bunch of them and just cast them out there to help.
The dunks, yeah,
Mosquito dunks.
You use the mosquito dunks, the BT, and sometimes when you have standing water too, you can use coconut oil. Just a few drops. Like Bay County, they do that with all their storm drains. They got little guys that run around on scooters, and they pull up and they let their load go. They go on to the next one, and they have GPS coordinates and everything. It's crazy. We go to they have a training, and we go there. We're actually looking at a microencapsulated garlic for mosquito treatment, where instead of like blasting them with all these pesticides and stuff, we're actually spraying this stuff on, and then we're drawing them to it, and they eat it, and then it'll wipe out whole colonies and areas and stuff. Last year we switched to it, and the people just loved it. It just did a great job. Your place smelled like a big A1 steak, you know. So it's really a breakthrough, and this year we're going to sell the shit out of it.
You know, you talked about the storm drains and coconut oil. If we can go back to that for a minute, how does that work?
The oil.
I feel like I'm just like completely fucking blown out, stoned over here, and I misheard you, and now like you get to say, no, dude, that's not what I said at all.
With you, Skillbo, this is completely fascinating. Nobody else has touched on IPM in this way, for me anyway.
Well, it's really cool because, like, especially us, we get a lot of guys that are like capturing rainwater and doing rain barrels and stuff on their house. And I'm just telling you, a bottle cap of water will produce millions, just hundreds of mosquitoes. Okay, so when you have your watering containers and stuff, what you do is you like use your coconut oil, put it on top, and the mosquitoes like float on the surface of the water, breathing through it, and the oil puts a barrier so they can't breathe, and then they die. And it works for like 30 days or until the water goes down, and you have to go up and down, you get to reapply, but it's all natural, so you can apply it to your plants and stuff. And that's just an excellent method. But we go to houses, and they have so much debris and trash and junk, and then buckets. They leave the buckets up. A 5-gallon bucket, like some places I joke they're a mosquito farm. they're farming mosquitoes. You know what I mean? And so they go through. You get them to turn that stuff over and stuff, and start practicing the IPM. And especially, I'm telling you, a lot of people are capturing the water, and to put a little squirt on top of that water, that really will benefit them, especially if it stands for a long time before they use it.
Well, I know for us that we live in the city, so we have like a rather small backyard. But when I don't keep my certain tree trimmed up high enough, then I feel like the mosquitoes just hang out under that canopy and just go crazy. So if you're dealing with a mosquito issue, sometimes if you just trim your tree up and raise that canopy up, 8-10 feet off the ground, you'll find that you get a lot better airflow through there, and you'll find that you get a lot less mosquitoes just kind of hanging out waiting to bite your ass.
Yep.
And clean the gutters. Gutters are the number one thing. People got gutters and they got the standing water in them.
They got trees growing in them, brother.
They got trees growing in them, right?
But they got weeds growing in them. I've seen little plants growing in them before, man.
But yeah, I mean, so much can be done to prevent the mosquitoes, because you got to think about, a lot of times you're working your ass off all day, and you get out there, and about 9 o'clock you want to go out and check your plants, and the damn mosquitoes are eating the shit out of you. You know what I mean? So it's something we really want to consider, when we're out there, especially down there, because you guys get diseases and shit down there. You know what I mean?
Encephalitis was back for a little bit in Kalamazoo, Battle Creek area last year.
Yeah, in the north, I mean, we really don't, we don't really have to. West Nile, we all have to worry about West Nile.
Okay, so let's shift gears. We've talked about ticks, we've had our tick talk, and now we've had our mosquito talk. Let's talk about you guys, and let's talk about the direction that you are beginning to go as a company.
Which company?
Good point. Well, let's talk about Lake Michigan Canico.
Yes.
So right now we're just operating under the, the Caregiver Act and things like that. We'd like to get our hands on a rec license in the future if the, deals line up, and it's in the making. So we're keeping our fingers crossed, and hopefully we can line something up as far as that goes. And other than that, just riding out the caregiver thing. So, but everybody knows the writing's on the wall. So it's just one of those things. Hopefully things line up. So
for now, we're just gonna grow weed and smoke as much as I can.
So what's your keeper cut?
Ooh, we've got our Trop cookies right now, man. I'm telling you, it's hard to beat. We didn't produce it ourselves. Like I said, we got it from someone else, and we're running it. But that seems to be pretty good. But we'll definitely find some keepers in this these copycat genetics. We're pretty good buddies with the guys who originally started Fresh Coast, not the guy that owns it now. It was a collaboration of 3, and now it's just 1. He's touched on that before, but we're friends with them, so working with them if possible and trying to get their genetics in and things like that. You know what I mean?
It's you're preaching to the choir right here, because I've taken the panel members' proven genetics and I've put them in my garden, and now I'm at the point where I have packs that I want to pop, and I'm going like, wow, what am I going to do? Some things are going to have to come up out of here. So it's exciting to do new things, but it's hard to let go of those ones that are proven winners that you can get from other people.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. We keep our hands on those, and we really, honestly, we don't give them out to anybody. So those are the keepers. The rest we spark and kick out. You know what I mean?
What about autoflowers?
Oh, Christ.
Anybody growing autoflowers? None of you guys grow autos?
I do. I grow a couple of them.
We've always dabbled in them. I went to Amsterdam, brought some back. They're cool. I mean, they're not, pure or whatever. I don't care. I like them. I think they're badass.
Yeah, I like, they have their place. There's situations, at least I've found situations for me outdoor. I can maybe get 2-3 harvests with autoflower. Or even if I just grow one, or grow my 12 and grow them all outdoor. Autoflowers, I could spread them out 2-3 weeks apart and stagger my harvest and just take it easy and really control They're so much better outdoor. You can finish way in time and not have to worry about the late rains and bullshit and cold. And I just like the idea of autos outdoor. And then what I've been doing is I grow them. I put up a tent just to hold my genetics, so a mother tent, and it's a 4x8, and I only really need a 4x4. So the other side, I'm throwing autos in. I'm just popping an auto or two and just playing with them and seeing what they do.
Where are you getting your seeds in the States?
Yeah. Actually, it's a Morningstar Seed Company sends them out to me.
Nice. I just
I'm a
bought
tester for him.
Vancouver. I bought some from Canada, and I bought them because I tried to get Amsterdam and stuff, but everybody's doing the Bitcoin thing. You know what I mean? And I don't do the Bitcoin thing yet, anyway. And this dude took Venmo, so I Venmoed the dude, and here come my seeds like in 7 days. It was beautiful.
Wow, in 7 days, that's badass.
Yeah,
Please.
they give me a tracking.
Everybody, hold up. Everybody on here, he's been hounding me for like trying to get seeds, autoflower. So can you blow his DMs? Anybody that's watching this that is in the States,
Bring it.
Blow them up.
Bring it.
We don't care at all because we have our own thing going on inside. But this guy, he loves dabbling with them. So apparently, anybody that can get him some good autos, hit up his DM, Old Man Gardner 29.
Just send me a DM. I got a nice stack of autos. I'll send you some autos.
We had a guy on the show too, Chef Anna, who's like a Michigan dude that sells autos.
I'll buy them, man. I'll buy them. I just it's just great.
They're from Morningstar, so you wouldn't have to pay for them. Just share them out there. Take pictures. Give them feedback. That's all you ask for.
Nice.
Spartan, I have a question. If I get off the stream tonight, is it too late for me to grab a pack of autos and pop them tonight and start them outdoors and run them this year?
No. I will continue to say no up until August.
August is your hard no. Okay. So you did the Baby Huey outdoors last year? Is that what you did, or did you grow that indoors?
I did it indoors. I haven't done any autos outdoor yet. I was hoping to do it this year, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to get one done this year or not. I'll see what happens. Maybe I will. I'm planning on it. I'm just way behind schedule on it.
Man, I know it's the struggle is real.
Especially this year. Shit, COVID.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law just showed me his 12 autos. He's gotten his 10 outdoors. They all were popped about 6 inches high, looking really nice and bushy. He's planted in 7 gallons. I like to plant them in big pots. I like to not mess with them. You know what I mean? Pop them and right in the pot that I can put, and just never touch them again. And because they're so weird, they're kind of weird, how you can shock them and screw them up really easy.
Now, the ones that you've grown, have they all been feminized, or did you have regulars?
Yeah, no, everything was feminized. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. The one thing on these Morningstar, when you get those, these are regulars, so you're gonna have to sex them. So my advice is I like to pop the seeds in a root riot cube to get them started, and then I'll put them in like a tall cup, a clear cup, and put my soil in there, plant the root riot in there once it's sprouted out. And then I'll put a regular, like a solo cup that's a solid color to block the light. Over top of that, clear cup with the soil in it. And I'm just blocking the roots. But now I can pop that clear cup out and look to see how the roots are doing. And I'll just watch the roots. And once the roots get down towards the bottom of the cup and start to swirl around, I'll gently do my transplant then. Now, the reason I do that is because by that time, the roots getting down there, I can usually sex that plant. I can usually tell if it's a male or female at that point. And I can cut it out.
How do you tell? You use a loop or what?
Yeah, well, just from experience, I can do it without a loop now. Just the way it looks, I can see it from seeing it so many times. But but early on, I would take a loop and get down really close, at where the nodes come out, and look for
third node. Does it second or third node?
It doesn't matter the nodes. I actually will start from the top and go down node to node. Usually I'll go down 2, 3, 4 nodes. If I don't see anything at all, then I just say, okay, I can't tell yet. But then I just keep checking every day until, autos, they'll show really quick sometimes. sometimes within 2 weeks, man.
That would be
start
so
seeing signs.
surprising, wouldn't it?
What's
It's
the
just so
longest
different.
What's the longest you've seen an auto mail? Because I've never seen it like past 12 days. That's the longest. They show so quick.
Yeah, the mails will show, yeah, really, really fast. It's like you'll see balls, man. It'll be like you'll be surprised. I don't know if you've seen a mail before, but it'll be, instead of having the little almost like seeing like the little, it's called a bract, but everybody calls them calyx. But you'll see the bract, it's shaped kind of like this. But on the female, that bract where my wrists are is like right at the stem. On the males, early on, it'll look just like that, but it'll have a stem on it. It'll have like a little stem. It'll be come away from the main stem. So it'll be separated from the stem, I guess I'll say. And so that's kind of what I look for really, really early on. But then, late on, you'll see like those clusters of almost looks like grapes, or everybody says the balls, because that's what's going to open up eventually and be the male pollen's going to be shooting out.
Pistol Pete.
Yeah. So, yeah, just look for that. I mean, you're 100% used to seeing female parts, so it'll stand out to you when you see the male.
Yes. I just didn't know you could do that with autos. I've always had feminized. You know what I mean?
I think feminine for growers. I think feminize is the way to go, honestly. But the good thing about regulars though is if you get a male, you can put that in there and breed your autos if you want to, and now you got your own seeds. Now you got thousands of seeds. You know what I'm saying?
So cool.
You'll never have to buy them again.
So a lot of people like that about Morningstar, that he doesn't feminize, because then they can say, oh, sweet, I got a male. I'm gonna throw this in the room with two or three of these other females I got going. And even if I don't get a lot of smoke out of that, I'm going to get a shit ton of seeds, and I won't need to buy seeds for a while.
So if we had that little 2x4 tent that we were talking about all the time, that little cheap $70 boy you keep looking at, if you had that and an auto, you know what I mean? You could just have a small place that you run that with the male and a female and let it do its thing. There you go.
And buy the day timed LED light for like $139, and you're kicking some ass with that.
It'd be a successful project at that point for sure.
To me, autos are like the fun project plant, or the one you can completely ignore, and it's still gonna fucking bring you some fucking weed at the end. They're fucking nice.
Have fun with it. Have fun with it. It's really cool. And then you can, like you say, time your harvest. Like, we plan on like planting 6 and 6, and then literally harvesting about July. Me and my brother-in-law was the president of Normal way back in the like 70s, 80s. Well, no, it was in the 80s up here in Traverse City, and he loves those things.
Well, you'll like those Morningstar ones that Abolish has got, because if he's got what you think he does, you're gonna have a lot of purples. So if you like purple bud, you'll get a lot of color. And some of those, like the purple microdot, I grew. That was the first auto I ever grew, and that thing was fucking huge for an autoflower. I mean, I don't even remember what I yielded on it, but
Texas purple microdot.
It was huge.
Yeah, that's the thing. I have the Baby Huey, and that's a 12-pack because it's a regs. And I'm wondering, damn, how big will this thing get? Because it's supposed to be pretty tall.
Well, my Baby Huey didn't get as big. It was more compact, but that one was the one that had buds from the top to damn bottom. I mean, literally the bottom.
How many days was that? Do you know, like, just kind of roughly? Would that be like 90 days, 100 days?
Come on, I'm not going to deal with roughly. I got it written down, man. I got to find it.
He's not high enough yet, guys.
Damn, I had a pack of those in my hand, I think, like a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. I should have left with those in my hand.
So for me, yeah.
Yes, you should have. I remember that.
For me, that Baby Huey was short and compact. It didn't get super tall, but it was buds like from top to bottom. It was fucking awesome.
You shared the smoke with me, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm like, man, I still have a pack of those. I should really fuck with that this year.
Well, I have those purple microdots. I think I'm going to mess with those, and I think I'm going to give Daddy Red some of those. Go ahead, Spartan.
Oh, sorry. It was 98 days. So I count days when I first see the first true leaves come out. That's day one. So then that's just how I count it. And then that's 90. So I did 98 days from sprout, basically, from first true leaves.
If we use your August 1st rule, where's that going to put us? Right there at November, right?
Yeah, but these things are you got to remember that these are ruderellus genes. This ancestors, this was their great grandfathers were fucking growing up in Russia and Siberia. They don't give
Tibet.
yeah, they don't give two. They're growing on the side of mountains and shit. They could give two fucks about our winter.
Scoff
That
at it.
hasn't really worked out for me, but go ahead.
You guys don't get winter. We're up here in the Great White North, there, boys.
There you go.
We have lake effect. We're in the snow belt. It's crazy.
Well, then hoop house, man. You got to hoop house it.
Yeah, I like hoop house.
I say autos serve a purpose, like as you guys are saying right there, how much you love them. They didn't work out for me, but they do impress me because of the time, how much time they take in, the amount of yield that I've seen people pull off them. Not me personally, I did terrible with them, and that unique terp effect that we got from the Wizard Apprentice that I brought to Old Man's, how it gave. Everybody talks about, we talk about the spice taste or whatever in terpenes. This one literally had a spice effect on your tongue.
Yes.
It was super unique. Never had that in cannabis before.
Speak to me of the spice and peppers.
It didn't even last long, but it was like a pepper. It was like you guys are right. It was like just like eating like a jalapeno pepper for a second or for like 5 seconds.
Cannabis is cool.
It's the power of terpenes.
CBD, or not CBD, but CBD. What do you guys know about CBD?
Just CBD, like just the terpene, or I mean,
seeds or the plant?
No, G.
Never saw on the seed. Oh, it's G. Oh, CBG.
Oh, CBG.
I know CBG is the precursor to CBD, THC. I guess all of the macro cannabinoids, right?
You know, it's really funny because I had a person tell me about this the other day. A lady, she does extractions and pens and stuff, you know, and she was telling me it's like a brand new thing that they're covering it over in Europe right now, and that it's coming down the pipe. And something about they can make with a CBG, they can make your nervous system shut down for like 10 minutes. No pain, no feeling. You get what I'm saying? They're talking about anesthesia. Like there's a lot of it's crazy.
So they must be isolating. So they must be doing some kind of a distillate or something, or maybe they're just trying to breed plants to just be higher in that.
Breeding plants. That's what they are. They're breeding plants with the CBD in it. And I'm just wondering, like, holy cow! It sounds like some of the effects and uses could be incredible. But it's like brand new coming out in Europe, and we're starting to hear. And my son knows quite more than I know about it.
Yeah, and it says here in chat, Bagseed said CBG has been shown to kill MRSA in hospitals.
Yeah, and they talk about killing COVID with it, right? With CBD or C.
I've been hearing these reports that they're actually doing these studies in Canada. I think it was Alberta specifically, and they're saying that smoking was one reason. One was that smoking anything really, because they said that if you breathe it in, it kind of sits in the back of your throat and breathes there in the moisture and stuff in the back of your throat. Well, if you smoke, that tends to dry out, and I guess then it can't live; it dies. But then the effects of cannabis specifically is it's an anti-inflammatory, and so they think that helps slow down the disease and slow down the ability for it to take hold, so your immune system can fight it off quicker. They're showing this is all preliminary stuff from their study. They haven't released the paper yet, but they're making these reports. And
I would imagine it would help your stress response also. You know, like if your body was going to go into shock or something, I would imagine like it would help alleviate that stress that your body might go through.
But beyond that, I did read a report that some biotech company in California came out with a cure. They're able to somehow manufacture or duplicate the antibodies. So then they basically just give you this antibody treatment. So as if you had the disease and beat it, they put the antibodies. This is my understanding of it. I read one article. They put the antibodies into your system, and so then you get that immune response from that. So that was really nice sounding. That made me pretty happy when I read that article.
Sure.
I was gonna say I just ordered some hemp flower. Thank you to Sequence for giving us the suggestion on that. It's from Happy Buds Hemp Co. And one of the things was they threw in some flower that was CBG, and it's the strain name is listed as CBG, and they throw in like the test results and everything for it. So it's supposed to be 15.29% CBG. And then it has a extremely low amount of THC and CBD in it as well.
Does that look like a fully ripe flower? My question is, I'm curious on if they maybe get those high numbers from flower time.
Look how little they are.
It's like little tiny buds.
So do they possibly look premature? Because I heard that CBG was at its highest point, like early flowering and things. But then again, this is all really old information. This is nothing.
So that could be the case. Look how small those buds are. They could be.
So I wonder if those are like pre-flowers and they harvest at that point.
So I'm actually looking on the Happy Buds hemp shop right now, and I see that they have CBG flower from $19.
So the cool thing about
so you could smoke a joint of your regular stuff and then fucking smoke a joint of that, or blend them together and make a salad.
And that's exactly why I'm looking Spartan, dude. Yeah, always right with me, man.
Fuck yeah. And then maybe you get some more pain relief benefits by blending in that CBG.
I just know I want to make sure I'm getting more CBD in general is why I ordered it in the first place. You know, with our current situation, a lot of times, you know, obviously we grow what our patients want and they don't want high CBD strains, but it's something that I want. So that's, you know, a great way for me to make sure that I'm still incorporating it. I mean, and we smoked it. It's okay. But
how much? Okay, so how much was it for like some high CBD? How much? What were they asking for? Like
okay,
like an ounce.
An ounce is, I'm looking at the CBG still. An ounce of it is $60, and here's what it says.
Not that. I want CBD though.
Oh, CBD. It's
because that's probably going to be
cheaper.
CBD.
Oh, CBD is the same price.
Yeah.
60?
For like the actual like CBD flower I ordered, so they sent me that other stuff as well. But the CBD flower I ordered has like almost 2% terpenes in it and things like that. So it looks like regular flower.
Man, I might have to order some and then just extract it.
Well, here's the thing. It's saying that the total CBG in this is 15.2990%. The total CBD is 0.0232%. THC Delta 9, 0.083%. Total cannabinoids, 15.7538%. Now, here's the scary number. You ready? Terpenes, 0.082.
That one's really low.
So bud size varies from bag to bag, typically medium size.
See, I think that it might be an early harvest, but you know what I would do that now? I'm sure that the effects. I'm not sure what the effects are like. Right? Does it get you high? Does it not? I think that if I had a bag of high CBG flower that either I'd put a little bit in my salad joint and use some of it that way, and I think that I would actually mix it in with my RSO solution and definitely extract it at its full potential. So I'm not nuking it with a lighter or flame source. I'm actually taking all of that CBG in, because if CBG is as a cannabinoid that's really helping influence your endocannabinoid system and help with so many things, you know, I think that I would want to eat it.
So do you guys think we've been going in the wrong direction then for these non-psychoactive medicines and focusing on CBD? Because CBG, unlike CBD, CBD indirectly interacts with our endocannabinoid system. CBG directly interacts with the CB1 and CB2 receptors. So
that's what I was just going to say. That's the part of like the psychoactive THC or the part that psychoactive THC interacts with too. So I think that CBG would have a much different effect smoking it than CBD would, because it's interacting with the parts of your brain that psychoactive parts of THC.
So you're saying it's going to kick it up a notch?
I don't necessarily know that it would have a psychoactive effect too, but I think more of like the therapeutic effects of CBD would come out if it's interacting with the receptor part of your endocannabinoid system rather than the tertiary parts of it. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Sequence for the tip on this, and shout out to you guys for bringing the information along with this, because I know, honestly, I'm going to pull the trigger on this and start making some kick-ass salads for waking.
I didn't realize they had CBG percents that high. That's That's
just thinking
impressive.
like if I could have found 2 or 3%, I was going to be giddy. Like, oh, that'd be fucking
No, like,
amazing.
this is
That's
like-
kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking they were like high CBD blends with an elevated amount of CBG is kind of what my thought was on it.
I'm going even further with it. I'm thinking, what if you order this and Scully, you can do the same thing because you work with alcohol just like I do. And hell, if I got those 2 bags, I'd put them both, fucking decarb them in the oven, then I'd fucking soak them in alcohol.
Oh man, and make it
Then
kick-ass.
Then I extract them. Now I got a kick-ass tincture. Then I throw it in my machine, and I've got a kick-ass fucking Fico or.
That's the thing. I was thinking your Fico for sure. Your Fico.
Then I could measure that out. Yeah, then I can measure that out
That's
into
that's
an equal
exactly where I was
dose.
going with that.
And do an equal
Cut
dose
that
into a
stuff down.
capsule, and then take that, and then take my regular Fico at the same time.
I love you, Spartan.
Yeah,
the flower is smokable too, guys. You know, I'm snob when it comes to that, but it's like
what?
It's like
you?
Mids, it's like mids from like pre or whatever before everything became legal. It's that kind of mid quality. Like it's smokable, but it's not like, oh, look at this.
So it's Skilbo weed. It's what I grow.
Oh, I don't want to hear it. You've been getting better and better. I want me some Skilbo OG right now.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, I cannot wait to harvest. I have just been like getting giddy with it, man. Like when everything is firing on all the cylinders and stuff, and you're looking ahead and your veg is bumping, and you're like, okay, I got to shut down for like, I can probably get it all done in 2 days. I can get everything cleaned and then really, really get set back up. What I'm going to do next is I bought a second dripper line system that instead of just being like my janky system with a Y splitter and 2 hoses run off, I bought one that actually has sights on it now. So I'm going to dig down into the soil and put that one lower down, and then I'll leave the one that's up. So I'll have like an upper and a lower watering for my bed. And I don't know, just, you know how it is when you got like plans and things are going well. It's a great feeling to be a grower for that. It definitely buffers out all the shitbag times when we have to call up our friends over here and say, man, I got a problem, dude. What can you do? Parker, you got to help me out, bro.
Parker. Yeah, no, I hear you. Always coming at me, depending on the angle.
He drops and rolls for people, though. I'll tell you, people call him in a panic, and I'll tell you, he jumps in his truck and he runs over and sets them on the path and gives them some right information and makes them feel a lot better. I can tell you that.
You know what? That's a really good point. Oh, that was you, Scope, or whoever, Michigan Bros Grow Show, whoever's on that account right now. That's a good point. That you do those salads where you mix like that CBD flour in with your regular stuff.
You're getting full spectrum meds,
and you're stretching your stuff, man. You know, your flour.
Everybody wonders why I get that outdoor from Red. Everybody's like, I don't know why he wouldn't take the top shelf stuff. Well, that's why, folks.
No, that was just me joking with you.
Oh, I know. You know, the thing is I do regret it. I should have kept some of the, that fucking rainbow grabber. Bro.
See, personally, I thought you wanted like the seeds out of it, and
I do.
I didn't realize you wanted the smoke. I would have
doing both.
thrown you some smoke. You know.
No, see, it's a win-win situation. That's how you.
Yeah, no, I feel you. It's good smoke. I'm gonna use it all after I still haven't bucked the seeds out of that bud. Eventually, I'm gonna use it all for Fico.
Yeah, man. Well, look, I still have some right here.
Made in Fico.
Forgot I've like moved my camera around so many fucking times. I don't know where anything's at, so don't mind me. I'm high. Yeah, this is it right here. This is Sour Kush, though.
Which one's that? The Sour Kush?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, that was the frostiest one. There's a couple other plants that I had. One just had a giant cola, so I kind of kept it and kept seeds. So there's a couple different phenos of that one, but that was the best one in my opinion.
And there's a lot of viable looking seeds in there too. There's some nice ones.
Dude, the grape ape has some. What I've noticed is like
they're pretty little, but when you gave them the jar, dude, those look
I don't know if you guys have them like separated at all or have like looked at them. Like the granddaddy has like little almost black type of like beans, and then the grape ape has these like giant monster tiger stripe, just real light tan with real deep black tiger stripes. They're very vivid, very like cannabis seed looking seeds. You know what I mean? Like you could tell from a mile away what it is, and it's huge. Is that's the Sour Kush one? It's fun, man. Scobo, unfortunately, you're muted.
I am. I'm totally high. So you know when you go to a dispo and you get like the doob tube, and you know, like you're done with it at the end and shit, or you got so many saved up that you do them. What I do is I have like doob tubes full of like the garlicane and stuff, the outdoor that I got, you know, and I labeled all that shit. So it says like garlicane, Carmella. I don't know what was the seed of it. So to me, it's a three-way cross, and you don't know which way the phenos are going to come out on it. But it's preservation, man. I can't just like,
And then you
throw
labeled
seeds
it
away.
however you label it, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Now
You know.
Spartan's the one that's muted.
I was like, who knows what the cross is, man? It could be hemp. That's probably what it is. Fucking hemp farmers.
That's the other thing. I'm really excited to break all of that old flower down into the FICO, because one of those plants was one of those high CBDs that's supposed to be between 12 and 14% and less than 3.3% THC. So it would make a really cool balanced FICO, like Spartan, like you were talking about Spartan. I don't know what the CBG numbers are. It might have been a little early because that plant.
Another thing I would like
kept
about,
going.
yeah, like what you're saying with the FICO with the CBD. Another cool thing is if you had like a tube of FICO that you've made, or you know, cannabis oil of that you know is mostly all CBD, you can use that like an old shit. You know, I'm too high, so you can go grab that CBD and take a dose of that, and that'll help bring you back down again, help calm you down.
Yeah, that CBD isolate helped me, man, because these guys, I've said this before, but I'm going to give them all a shout out again. I have never been so high as the time that we had our flanks glimping. And I had smoked so much so quickly that I was like, ooh, fuck, man. So old man had the wherewithal. He was like, oh, come on in, dude. Check this out. So he busts out this CBD isolate. And like everybody else came through, because it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not like we just sat down and started doing this. We've been like, me and Sequence were like sunrise people over there with him. But that shit, you took a nice rip of that and just boop, instant clarity. And I know earlier in the chat, I can't give them a shout out because I can't remember. It's kind of hard to do that. But they had said that they had an instant relief in their headache when they had tried the CBG. And the other one said that it instantly like took away all the effects of the high. So your mileage may vary with that, but it's nice to know that anecdotally that there's a direction that you can start to look for yourself.
Oh, I was thinking about how the new term that you hear on like the news and often is like, it's not your grandpa's weed, or it's not your 60s weed, or whatever they called it. And I just think that there was such a higher percent of CBD that has just been, you know, bred out of the plant due to creating more effect for, you know, the dollar. You know, it's all part of the black market. You know, we can get into that at a different time, but that's one of the reasons that I'm kind of messing with that auto/AC/DC mail in the past, and then I'm going to work with those crosses. Is I'm trying to bring a little bit of CBD back into the bud, man. I want full spectrum bud, even if I got to utilize more of the product and put it in some edibles and eat some more FICO to get a head high, or if I got to like smoke some like heady weed or something. I want those cannabinoids because I do believe in these antiviral, anti-aging, you know, medicinal values of the plant. And I believe that it's a proactive thing, you know. Okay, we're seeing that maybe it's helping, maybe there's a cure for some things, but I think that it more has to do with just proactively keeping your body in this homeostasis so that your immune system has the ability to fight a lot of things, as well as it does go in and cure. And the reason I'm using air quotes is because I'm not a medical professional and I don't want to state the cure, even though we've seen it cure many things. So that's the reason for the air quotes. But other than that, you know, I totally believe in these like healing benefits, right? It's going to heal your body. It is going to cure something, if I can go there. But I believe that if you utilize it as your daily regimen, that it's going to proactively defend whatever's out there also. So cheers to that. Cheers to the plant. Cheers to full spectrum, man. You know, and getting all the cannabinoids. I think CBG is pretty cool that we're figuring it out. The testing's the important thing, right? You know, we all talk about testing. We figure out what's in these plants.
We're talking about medicine, guys. You notice that no one's going to get rich off of this as far as we're concerned. We're all doing it proactively for ourselves and trying to think of how we can get more from our plants and, you know, helping us help ourselves.
Well, our families are aging, man, you know, and I see the benefits of cannabis with the aging population of and I want that for my family. I want it for, you know, me when I age, you know, and maybe my children, and utilize it through their lives, and it helps with their aging and things. But from what I'm seeing, if it can help with some of these medicinal issue, or you know, things that anybody's dealing with.
Dude, you guys are all
Overall.
caregivers. Everybody up here is a caregiver. You guys are doing this to help other people in the first place. So why not be able to look into helping them a little bit more? Growers love to that. I know we've went a little bit over tonight, but it's because I was basically fucked this whole thing up in the beginning. I was thinking it was okay to run a couple minutes over, but if anybody has a problem with that, just, you know, let me know and we can cut out of here. But I think we owe the people a couple more minutes. We have to do at least shout outs and stuff like that. But I don't want to just interrupt the conversation because I really dug this one.
I want to shout out
we finished
Dankman.
with it, man.
Yeah, I want to shout out Dankman real quick here. He says that Happy Bud sells keef too. So there's an already extracted, you know,
$20.
There you go. So there you go. You could keep that, something that's pretty shelf stable. You could keep in the, you know, that's your oh shit fucking
pack a bowl, man.
Yeah, I got too goddamn high. Give me some of this keef.
It is, man. I think that's one of the best uses for CBD, aside from supplementing your body's endocannabinoid system, is the ability for you to be able to supplement your body with more cannabinoids, right, without getting super high, because it can help bring you back down. I think that's, you know, if you really, really, really need to pump tons of THC to really fight an illness, you can mitigate that with the CBD and pump tons of THC into your body. You know?
Such a good tip right there, because you need to like really knock down a cancer or something like that. The level that you need is so high that it's gonna just destroy most normal people. Like,
it overwhelms everybody that you, when you say a half of a rice size piece of RSO to somebody, and they take maybe even a smaller amount than that, and it blows their mind. They're like, I'm never getting up to a rice size. I'm never doing a gram a day. What do you mean 3 grams a day?
All they do is sleep.
What I mean? It's whoa. And they don't understand the titration and the tolerance, how quickly it happens, because it's so overwhelming that first time, you know. But supplement with some CBD and could make it a lot easier.
I want to give a shout out to Dab Smith, because I've used his Herkel concentrate, the award winning, you know, and I use that before work. I know it's going to be like a really fucking hot and heavy, stressful ass day. I'll take a nice dab of that right before work, and it's just like cloud 9 until that thing wears off. So it's definitely knowing. I always think of, like, people will say, well, Skilbo, why do you have so many different strains? Like, you don't need all that shit. Actually, I do. I think of each thing as like a different tool in my toolbox. So it depends on what you know, is my back bugging me today? Okay, well then I know that I can use the Kiwanon copper. Am I feeling, you know, like kind of pissy today? Well, I don't know what I'm going to smoke. Maybe I'm going to reach over and I'm going to grab the Citral glue. Or maybe I just really want to get stoned after work. Well, now I'm going to grab the GG4. I know what I'm going to do. So I like having those different options, and, you know, everybody does it.
Yeah, man, I love that Skilbo, because I always talk about the Death Star and how I always smoke heady weed and stuff. You know what, man? Sometimes, even if it's early in the day, if I'm having a bad day, I just need to smoke some like Rainbow Driver, something that's going to get me really high, something that's going to get me moving, you know?
And eventually those things are going to get Spartan kicked. You know what I mean? Like, so today's, you know, thing that's my go-to, maybe one of you guys shoots me a clone, or maybe I pop a pack and I find something. I'm like, oh my God, this is such a better pain medication for me. I'm willing to either, you know, pass this on to everybody who wants it now as one last chance before she goes, or, you know what I mean? Just discontinue it, because now I found something that's going to work better for my specific tool.
I just took about a half hour ago. I took about a half a gram of RSO. So I'm hoping, right now, I just remembered I better set my alarm, because I got to be up an hour. I got to be at work an hour early tomorrow. I forgot. Damn.
Oh.
It's going to be a fun drive.
Wake up high. You know, that's the funny thing, is after you've done this for so many years, especially as a grower, you kind of just stay perpetually at a certain elevation level. But you can all remember at some point when you had a really late night session as an early on smoker and you woke up high. Those, It's like a nostalgic feeling, I think. You're fucking around with that RSO though, you might be rekindled with that feeling.
It's all right.
I'm imagining that's like at least 60%, right? 60, 70%, something like that THC. So you're in the, dude, you're like 300 plus grams or something like that. Is that what I'm?
Yeah. 275 is the last one I had tested. Was 275 was a half gram. Was 275.
Nice,
Hey, how much was in that
nice.
tiramisu?
I've made it a bunch of different times with different amounts. I think that the time that I brought it to the meetup, it was like 300 milligrams a slice or some shit. Just stupid strong. Or I think it was 2,000 milligrams in the pan, maybe.
There was definitely one time it was way stronger than the other time.
Yeah,
I had to,
2,000 in my piece.
Dude, I had to drive home, and that was like a 2-hour fucking Mecca drive.
Yeah, edibles and stuff don't really give me too much, but that tiramisu, that shit is strong. I don't know if it's the experience because you're enjoying that symphony of taste on your tongue, but damn.
Well, it could have been the Gettys.
Home in the snowstorm. That looks like Star Wars.
Dude, that's what it was when I was going to the last get together. It was like I was going 30 miles an hour through Detroit, like right on 94, you know, because it was just a horrible whiteout and shit. It's the times like those, though, you know what I mean? The shotgun adventure and the whiteout and all the other stuff is what makes me love this little community that we've built in this crew. We just all love to laugh. We all love this plant. We like the medicine side of it. It just, I don't know, man. It's always a good time doing the show with you. And I think that there's no better place for us to basically start to do our closeouts than with some Growers Love. Shout out to chat. You guys have been great. I mean, you guys have consistently held it down all night for us. We have nothing but love for you. And so I'm going to start off. Let's see. Red is drinking. Spartan's ripping. Miss C looks like she's ready to go.
Just a little sleepy, that's all.
Heard that.
Would you like to lead the sign off?
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. It was super fun, even though it made my skin crawl just a little bit. You can find me on Instagram at miss.cantaloupe. I've got one tent that's kind of like my dedicated area that he stays out of. I've been trying to post updates on. I'm on day 45 right now. And then our full garden you can follow at Abolished Farms on Instagram.
And I'm Abolished Farms. You can find me on IG, YouTube, wherever you see MBGS Productions.
I was gonna say, wait, we forgot something.
We do. We have to forget that we have to talk about who was our winner for the grow off this week. So Abolished, do you have a way to share the screen right now and set that all up?
Yeah, somebody else go ahead and do a sign off and I'll get that all set up.
Okay, so we're gonna move we're gonna move to Kate. We'll let the suspense build.
I just want to say I appreciate Lake Michigan Cannabis Company for coming out and talking. It was cool to hang out with you guys tonight. I appreciate everybody in chat and whoever donated money. That's super cool. And you can find me on Instagram at the Canna Kate, and I'll see you next week. Also, I DM'd the old man 29 or whatever seed company in Michigan. So there you go.
Thank you.
Love, appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Spartan.
Hey, I'm Spartan Grown. You can find me on Instagram. I had a fucking awesome time hanging out with you guys today. I'm glad you stopped by. And, well, if you come back, that's awesome too. I'm not going to pretend like I can invite you, though. That'll be up to Skill.
We've already talked about it off the air.
All right. So, and shout out chat. You guys fucking kill me. I didn't keep up as good as I wanted to because I got really fucking high before the show and throughout the show. So I had one eye on there, but I didn't see it all. I'll have to watch it again.
Can we do a clip show of Spartan saying how high he got every single show? Abolished, can you do that for me? It could be like it would be like an 8-minute long video of Spartan being like, I got really high in the last show. I had a cookie.
We need a chart.
Right now.
Long.
We need a chart.
That's gonna be like another epic 3-hour episode.
Right. Instead of the Scoville units, it's gonna be the Spartan units.
Yeah, but see, I I just combine it all together, and I finally get there. And I'm excited to share that I finally got to my highness. All right, I'll see you guys later. Growers love.
So I got us all set up now. This is for this week's bi-weekly giveaway. And Red, can I get that drum roll that I messed up before? No, I can't see the screen. Is he drum rolling?
There you go.
I don't know. I'm sharing the screen anyways. Michigan medicated.
Shout out M2. Congratulations. Look at these pics.
Yeah, she's got some beautiful plants.
Yeah, I really like your photography too. It's good. Very nice shots.
Looks like she might be the furthest along too in the grow off flower wise.
Ladies are leading the way.
Mm-hmm.
Does it say what day?
We can zoom out. Let's see.
Yeah, those look nice, don't they?
29.
She's on
Yeah,
29.
they really do look incredibly happy.
But yeah, congratulations, M2. Well, I'll talk to you. I'll get your information.
Definitely congratulations again.
Yeah, nice picks. Cheers, congrats.
And now let's throw it over to Red for his sign off.
Oh, she said day 29 in chat.
I got to give a huge shout out to chat, the cannabis community. Man, I got to thank our guests for coming on. It's been awesome. I really appreciate every now and then when I wake up some bong rips and you close it down with some bong rips and stuff in the feed, man. I love it. Or in the messages. I mean, really dig it, man. I like you guys coming in and talking about IPM at a perfect time. Like I said, I tossed my plants outside, so timing couldn't have been better. Pulling ticks off a dog like crazy, so talking about ninja toads and stuff was perfect, man. I really appreciate you guys. Skilbo, can't wait to talk to you tomorrow night at the late sesh at 11. It's gonna be awesome. We do it live every Monday night, so catch me there. Catch me on Instagram and catch me right here on the Bro Show Live and on the Frugal Force on Saturday night. So cheers, cannabis community. Love you all. Peace out.
Can you tell Red is a DJ? He just never gets miffled. He just always rolls with it. And you're like, oh, is he gonna? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's no inhaling.
Oh,
There's
there's
only
none.
smoke.
I know. Dude, it's like a professional, man. I'm impressed. Definitely.
Do not inhale. Do not breathe.
Never. Gentlemen, thank you so much for putting up with our shenanigans and for coming in and dropping all the knowledge that you have tonight. It's funny that we have spoken so long ago and this is where we're at now. I've watched these guys go from the very beginnings of where they were at when they first came online and we started talking to doing their build out, growing, and it's just like, I love seeing it and I love the direction. And you guys have to give a shout out definitely to who did your graphic, because that's a really clean and crispy look that I know people have been looking at all night.
Tucker.
Yeah, no, shout out to Nate Pupil. He's my buddy I went to school with. He's kind of a little artist on the side of what he does for work. So yeah, I appreciate him, and the logo turned out awesome. We liked it a lot. So the slaps are
clean, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us on. It was fun to chat. Hopefully we'll be back.
Yeah, and stay tuned. Obviously you can find us on our Instagram, Lake Michigan, Canna Garden _. So stay tuned, man. We've got a lot going on and a lot to come. We appreciate the opportunity. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Nice looking garden, by the way. Looks good, man. Those shots you showed me. Looks great.
I just want to say,
Probably you were live that one time.
Thanks to the boys. The boys include me in on this stuff, so I'm not all into it. I'm pretty tech savvy, though, I gotta say. But it's funny with us, because we're always working. We're working our tails off, keeping it all together, and then working with our pest control stuff. We stay busy. The grass isn't growing underneath our feet. I can tell you that. But it's so cool to listen and learn from you guys. Some of the stuff when we were starting out, was blowing us away. We were just like, man, did you hear those guys on the Grow Show? Did you hear about this? Blah, 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 And we'd all come with different ideas and stuff. But it's really nice now that we've had a run or two, we kind of know what we're doing and we're starting to streamline, but it's always something, you know what I'm saying? But
That's
I'd like
that's so awesome to hear that, man. That's awesome to hear that because that's the same story I have. I have the same fucking story, man. I was listening to a podcast, learning as much as I could online, and just doing the thing, man. And it's awesome that I feel like I've gotten back from the universe, kind of a thing. It's like good. I finally, you know what I'm saying? I finally gave back to because I felt such gratitude from getting that information, for free. It's fucking awesome.
Absolutely.
you see some people where they like want to compete or something, and it doesn't need to be that way. The industry is so big right now that we can all work together and share ideas and stuff, and that's the beauty of it, But we have friends and people that they want to compete and stuff, and we just that who gives a shit? I bring your shit over, let's test it. You know what I mean?
Roll it up.
And Butch, that's exactly why I want you guys to come back on the show and definitely do another panel with us. And because it's energy like that is that we all, if nothing else, we're all giving our time. And we all have agreed in the past that like cannabis has taught us to be more giving, not more taking. So I really appreciate you guys coming on and taking the time with us tonight. So, I hope that everybody in chat definitely goes and gives them a follow and checks them out. I'm Skillbo1 on Instagram, Skillbo17 on here. If you haven't subscribed yet and the old Streamlabs bot hasn't bothered you enough, make sure to drop a like on the way out if you've dug the conversation. Check us out tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the late sesh live. Come through, smoke, have some good laughs. And I also want to give a spotlight shout out basically to the Wake and Bake with the Groskis with Tara and Dan and Sequence and myself and all the other good people Thursdays at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So with that being said, have a good one.